Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. You got BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN, and we are opening up the show today in a non-traditional way. Dustin May has officially signed with the St. Louis Cardinals. It's a one-year deal worth about $12.5 million. There is a mutual option for 2027, and the Cardinals are announcing the signing officially today. Chaim Bloom and Dustin May are prepared to speak with the media, take some of their questions. We will have that live for you right here on 101 ESPN. Here is that press conference from the St. Louis Cardinals.
Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. I will be brief so we can get to Dustin and get to questions, but just want to reiterate our excitement that Dustin May has decided to join us and become a Cardinal. We're really excited at what he brings to the table and the upside of this partnership. His youth and talent, and also the experience, the things that he's been through, and the chance to have a runway with us a little over a year removed from some pretty wild stuff on the injury and medical front. And as he continues his career, we're really excited for him to be able to do that here, and look forward to partnering with him to get the most out of him and position him for success so he can help us win. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dustin and just express again excitement and welcome Dustin and his family to St. Louis.
Yeah, thank you. We are thrilled and very, very happy to be with St. Louis. We have some friends and family that are already reaching out that they're like, we're very close. We're gonna be coming out and visiting. So thrilled about that, and just thrilled to have the opportunity to put the Cardinals uniform on and go out every fifth day and compete.
Great. Well, thank you, Chaim. Thank you, Dustin. We will open up the questioning. I'll go with raised hands. Please let us know who you're addressing your question to as well, so they know who you're calling upon. We'll start with Jeff Jones with the Belleville News Democrat.
Hey, Dustin, nice to meet you. As you were sort of going through this process here, kind of living the reality of free agency, what was it about St. Louis that made the Cardinals an attractive match for you, and kind of what have the conversations been like with Chaim, with Ollie, with Dusty, with whoever you've spoken to so far about kind of what you envision your season to look like?
Yeah, I thought it was definitely going to give me the best opportunity to go out and compete. They definitely reiterated the fact that they wanted me to come in, and they wanted me to go out every fifth day and have the ball. And I feel like this gave me the best chance to be able to do that, and to do it on a team that I think is going to have a very good group of guys. I'm definitely very excited about the youth of this team, and I'm definitely excited to be a part of it.
John Denton with MLB.com.
Hey, Dustin, thanks for doing this. Just curious, like all you've been through with two Tommy Johns and the esophagus thing, what has that taught you about yourself, or how did you get through it? What did you learn about your kind of toughness of wanting to come back every time?
Yeah, for me, I think it was just to not look too far down the tunnel, to just kind of live in like a little 3-foot world is what I like to say. Is not try to step too far out, because you don't know how far you're going to be able to go. Not look too far behind, because that's kind of in the past. So just kind of living in the present, living in, like I said, my 3-foot world, and just trying to control what I control in the present.
If I could just ask you one more. You and Richard Fitz were kind of dealing with the same thing with the numbness. What do you know about him? He's going to be a Cardinal too.
Yeah.
How much have you guys talked already? And how's your arm feeling after that, going through that?
Arm feels great. Back to normal. As I've reiterated to a lot of people, I was going to be ready for the DS if we had advanced. So arm was in a better spot towards that time. But yeah, I'm definitely in a better spot now. I took some time off after that, and definitely got the body right, and I'm in a good physical space right now. So definitely looking forward to this year in spring training.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right, we'll go with Derek Gould, Post-Dispatch.
Hey, Dustin, thanks for joining us. I wanted to ask you two quick things, and both are related to what you were just talking about there, about being ready for the DS. Last year, you were able to throw the career-high number of innings. I wonder how you felt toward the end of that, and also how you feel that sets you up for this coming year, just kind of how last year maybe is a springboard into this year as far as health-wise goes and stuff-wise.
Yeah, last year I definitely had my ups and downs. But towards the end of the year, I mean, outside of the nerve thing, my body felt fine. I felt like I was in a good spot before that kind of flared up. But it calmed down and everything is in a good spot now going into spring. So definitely excited for that. And yeah, having the career high of innings last year was definitely a good thing to tick off in my toolbox. And I definitely feel like it is solidified my health to go into this year.
Does it speak to the sense that your stuff might tick up a bit too, just having that as a tailwind, having this last year?
I would think so. I think it's more so just that my body is going to be in a better spot going into this spring training from a full health standpoint. Being a year and a half removed from my esophagus tear, I think is going to be a big thing to be able to, that I've been able to put like weight back on and get back to like normal body weight and strength and everything going into spring training. So definitely excited about that.
The one quick follow-up I want is, why 3 foot world? Why not like 60 feet 6 inches world or 7 foot world? What's the 3 foot measurement?
Well, it honestly, I watched a military show a couple of years ago during my rehab, and they just talked about living in like a 3 foot world, and like that's about as far as you can step, is 3 feet forward, 3 feet back, and not try to look too far outside of that. And I liked that, and I've kind of just kept it with me ever since.
Thank you very much. Thanks for explaining that.
Yeah.
Okay, Lynn Worthy, St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Yeah, I'd like to direct this one to Haim if I could. I was just curious, Haim, if you could sort of describe what the profile was that you guys were targeting that helped you land on Dustin, and just as you guys were looking at the available free agent pools, as you guys wanted to add some starting pitching.
Yeah, well, it's been no secret. We've been very upfront about this, wanting to bolster our starting rotation. And, you know, a lot of things just about Dustin's journey, certainly his talent level, but also the journey to this point, this offseason, made him very appealing to us. And he just described it with being, you know, having some real removal now, not just from the Tommy John surgery, but also from a pretty unique and traumatic non-baseball injury that really impacted his season. The more we were looking at it, the fact that he was able to go out and do what he did last year and set that career high in innings, still bouncing back from something like that, really was incredibly impressive. And I think, you know, to his point, sets him up really well for this coming year. But even beyond that, again, you look at, you know, all of the ups and downs in what's still a relatively young career, relatively young for a free agent, but also someone who's been in the spotlight. He's been a top prospect in the game. He's started opening day. He's pitched in the World Series. So he has a lot of interesting experiences. And we felt it all came together to a point where we feel like he's ready to take off.
If I could follow up there, when you talked about sort of, you know, the ups and downs and things, why is that an important factor for you guys as you're looking at guys? I mean, it sounds like, you know, the fact that, you know, like whether it's the top prospect or just the injuries and things like that, like having that in his background and come out on the other side of that sounds like that was something that was attractive or important for you guys in your evaluation.
Yeah, look, everybody has their own story. I think our job is whenever we're assessing a player is to understand the player and the person in full. Obviously, as Yogi Berra notoriously said, predictions are hard, especially about the future. But when you get to the point of really understanding somebody in full, that can give you some signals to what might come next. And when you look at players and obviously bringing guys in here to help us, you know, we're in a position where we had this player in front of us who has, again, for someone who really has not pitched a whole heck of a lot in the big leagues due to some of the unique personal story, has a lot of things under him that are really unique that not too many people can walk in here and say. Obviously, it's still all about the work that everybody puts in, us and Dustin, and what he does every fifth day out there. But, you know, I think it's really encouraging just knowing that every time he goes out there to do battle, he'll be doing it with all those experiences under his belt.
Brian Walton, Cardinal Nation.
Welcome, Dustin. This is back to the elbow neuritis. Is it something that you'd ever seen before in the past? And what did you do to rehab that, if anything? And is there anything that you can do in the future to ensure that it doesn't happen again? Because I'm sure it was very disappointing for you to have to miss the post.
Yeah, Yeah, it definitely was. No, it's nothing that I have experienced in the past. My nerves always been fine in the past. It was just something that they said it probably just happened because of use. It was kind of probably just like a body shock, and my body was probably just kind of getting to, or my elbow was probably just trying to get into, kind of getting to a point to where it was like, all right, this is good for now. And then it took about a week off from throwing and calmed down, went away, and ramped back up, trying to get ready for the postseason. And then, like I said, if we would have advanced to the DS, I would have been ready.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Benjamin Hockman, St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Hey there. I actually also live in a 3-foot world just because that's my height. Wanted to ask you, Dustin, about your just your baseball life. Who, as we try to tell that story, who's been maybe the greatest mentor you've ever had from a baseball standpoint, and why, of course?
Well, I mean, being removed from baseball for so long, it was kind of hard to just kind of stay locked in on that. I mean, I definitely have to attribute my wife to a lot of it. She definitely pushed me through a lot of things and kept me like mentally sane going through the rehab processes. But growing up, it was always my dad. He kind of instilled this mental fortitude into me that kind of no matter what's in front of you, like just keep stepping and try and get through it. And I kind of used that to kind of attack the rehab process. And I got to, like I said, attribute a lot of that to my wife to be able to get through that and stay like mentally locked in on the baseball side.
Thank you.
Matt Pauley, KMOX Radio.
Dustin, thanks for doing this. You're a relatively young guy, haven't pitched a ton, but you walk into a rotation where there's a lot of youth, there's not a lot of experience. Do you like the idea of being kind of the old, experienced guy in this rotation?
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be something new for me. Being from the Dodgers, I got a lot of experience from a lot of veteran guys. Going over to Boston, it was kind of a little bit of a modge podge, and I was kind of right in there in the middle. But I definitely will enjoy going to this kind of young pitching staff and kind of using my experiences that I've had in the past to to help guys kind of walk through some things if they see fit to come to me and ask, or I can go and try and help lead them away, or lead them the right way through things and try and guide them the way that I was guided when I was younger. So definitely will be excited to use those experiences for that.
Thank you.
Daniel Guerrero, the Post-Dispatch.
Dustin, thanks for meeting with us. Nice to meet you. I was kind of curious about, aside from just the kind of experience, the free agency this offseason, what are some of the things that the work and just kind of off-season preparation have looked like for you ahead of next spring?
For me, the biggest thing was just trying to get my weight back on and build my strength back to what I was before my esophagus tear. I was very lucky and fortunate to be able to even get into a situation to be able to pitch last year, because whenever I did rupture my esophagus and came out of the hospital, I really didn't know if I was ever going to be able to throw a baseball again. So I was definitely very lucky and blessed to be able to do that, whether it was at my full potential or just what I went through last year, which was not what I thought that the type of pitcher that I am. So just to be able to put on a uniform last year and do it, it was great. But now that I'm back to hopefully who I was before, with weight and strength wise, I'm hoping that there are bigger and better things to come.
Thank you.
Brendan Schaefer, KMOV TV.
Question for Chaim. Now with the addition of Dustin to the group, Chaim, how do you sort of view your rotation depth, the starters that you'll be bringing to Jupiter? Do you feel that there's still an addition you could make to that group, or do you feel pretty set with what you have right now with your depth?
Yeah, obviously, we're happy to be deeper now with Dustin on board, but we're still going to be on the lookout for more. When that happens, who it is, whether it's via free agency, trade, I don't know. But, we still want to make sure we're insulated for the season, and that, especially as we continue to hunt opportunities to add young talent to this core, that's not going to stop. We're going to keep doing that. And hopefully there are opportunities that line up for us as we go through the offseason.
That was the Dustin May press conference live from the St. Louis Cardinals. If you guys missed any of it, you can check it out on the podcast page after the show today. 101ESPN.com and the free 101 ESPN app is where you go to find it. That is all sponsored by
Schaefer Door Company.
Alex, we've had a few questions, some people pushing back against our decision to play this press conference. Here's my explanation on why. One, it's urgent. We either play it now or we don't play it at all. We are going to talk plenty about Bo Perbula. I promise you, we'll give you our thoughts on that. We will talk plenty today about the St. Louis Blues. In fact, the next two segments are going to be on the St. Louis Blues, including Joel Hofer and talking to Joey Vitale, Blues analyst for 101 ESPN. The reason why we play it, because the Cardinals had an availability with Chaim Bloom. And that last answer there is why we play it. He just told you he's still looking for pitching.
Hell yeah.
I did not anticipate that. I thought this was probably their last addition to at least the major league roster on the starting pitching side of things. I find that to be fascinating, and it speaks to the possibility of, hey, they could trade one of their major leaguers for a major league arm. Chaim Bloom might have just a completely new rotation next year. Maybe none of the starters other than Matthew Liberatore are back in the rotation in 2026, and I don't blame him for that.
Yeah, I mean, you have the competition in spring training for Kyle Leahy and Andre Palante, but I mean, that's the smart way to go about this. If you can find multiple pitchers that want to be here like Dustin May, then you look at them and you say, cool, we're going to make this a competition. You may not be here after this season, but you're going to get a chance to be in the rotation and potentially be one of our top guys. And then you look at Palante and Leahy, say, you want it? Yep. You go out there and take it.
The other piece of news from that, man, Dustin May just went through a lot over the last few years. And hearing him talk about what it was like to go through the torn esophagus, it isn't objectively like just when you hear the story, somebody tearing their esophagus from lettuce. That is like a Mad Lib. It sounds ridiculous on the surface. But then you hear him discuss how, honestly, kind of life-changing it was for him and how fearful he was that he would never pitch again. And to be able to just be like basically an average major league starter last year is pretty remarkable, all things considered. He lost 40 pounds from that injury, if you want to call it that. The fact that he's potentially going to get back to his normal playing shape, I do think there is still some upside here with this kind of a signing. So I am genuinely curious to see what he looks like in a Cardinals uniform and what it can mean for them both next year, but maybe more importantly at the trade deadline.
And to that, what you're just saying about him getting back to full health, he just said, I've been listening to it in my ear over here, he was at 190 last year. He expects to be at 220 to 225 going into spring training.
He was 190 pounds?
That's what he just said.
He's 6'6". Mm-hmm. That is tiny, man. That's rail thin. I'm like 180. I'm not exactly like a big guy. I'm 6'1", 180. That's crazy.
Yeah, I bet your velo would be down too.
Is this where we're divulging our weight and our height? I'd prefer not to.
What are you at?
I don't want to speak about that.
180.
I'm 6 foot 190.
No, you're not.
You're not 6 foot 190.
5'7", a buck 70.
Yeah, you.
No, you gotta always fudge up the numbers for the media guy.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure. I'm 6'3".
Yeah, what media guide are you talking? Sure, I'm 6'6", 220.
I'm 6'3", 220.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm 6'7", 190.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll talk to our guy Joey Vitale, Blues analyst for 101 ESPN. You guys can get involved in the show, 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. You can always watch us on YouTube at youtube.com/101 ESPN STL. Coming up next, Joel Hofer earning the starter's net for the Blues. We'll talk about it here on 101 ESPN. From Harrison's brother, Master, talk about the Blues. This Dusty guy is a fifth starter, not exactly groundbreaking stuff. We will talk about the Blues right here on 101 ESPN. We're your home of the Blues. They're back in action tonight against the Rangers. Alex will have pregame coverage starting at 6, puck drop at 7. We will continue talking about the Blues in our next segment as well.
Did you see his next text? He said he's also signed for 1 year. That would be like the Blues holding a presser for Robbie Fabry.
Not exactly, considering he's signed for $12.5 million. Robbie Fabry was a waiver claim.
And it wasn't like it wasn't even a waiver claim.
This would be like the Blues having a press conference for Pius Suter, which they do. All right, let's talk about the St. Louis Blues for what they did last night. 1-0 shutout victory against the Winnipeg Jets. Alex, really impressive once again by Joel Hofer. You had some stats on him last night. What he has done, I think since Thanksgiving, been one of the best goalies in the NHL. This is not a controversy. We don't have to make it something that it isn't, but I mean, I think right now it's objectively true. He's the goalie that gives you the best chance to win. It'll be better tonight because it's a back-to-back, but they've got 3 more games, I believe it is, prior to the Christmas break. In the 2 of those games, I think you should see Joel Hofer to give you the best chance to win these games.
I 100% agree. I mean, he started 8 games since November 28th, right after Thanksgiving. And of goalies that have started 5 or more games, he's got the 4th best save percentage in the National Hockey League. He's tied for the most shutouts in the National Hockey League, which for some reason he's up there with John Gibson, which is a weird name to say. But regardless, he is winning you hockey games. And Jim Montgomery actually just spoke a little bit ago and was talking about, Jordan Binnington getting in between the net tonight. And he said, look, Binnington didn't need the reset. Our team needed the reset. They've played poor hockey in front of Binnington his last few starts. So now we're hoping that they're playing a little bit better hockey. As great as Joel Hofer was last night, I will also say that the team in front of him was awesome. I mean, Winnipeg couldn't sniff anything. Now, we'll get into Winnipeg a little bit later because they got their own freaking issues. But, I mean, they had a total of 7 high-danger scoring chances last night. They had 0 in the third period. Guys, they were down by a goal and had 0 high-danger scoring chances in the third period.
Part of that's because they were, like, addicted to taking penalties. But, yes, agreed.
Well, yeah, at the end, that was some dumb stuff. But they were also addicted to trying to dump the puck in, and Joel Hofer killed it off. So I watched Joel Hofer in these last few outings, setting aside that Nashville Predators one that just was an off night for him. And frankly, I think that's why last night was more impressive, because you found out about Joel Hofer that he can respond after a bad loss. The guys in the past, after they have a bad loss or a bad game, they don't see the net for a couple of games. And then from there, they struggle even more. But that was a game that he laid an egg against Nashville, and he came out and he responded immediately. The team played well in front of him. So I'm impressed with Joel Hofer, and if things go as I believe they will, I think you see 2 of the next 3 games with Joel Hofer, which means the 2 games played in Florida, they probably go with Joel Hofer, unless Binnington looks good tonight. So that's why I'll be really curious to see what he looks like.
In all honesty, if Binnington looks good tonight, I'd say, good job, man. Rest up prior to the Christmas break.
I just don't know if you want him to sit for 5, 6, 7 days.
I mean, it'll be
before
his
next game.
If he starts tonight and then doesn't start the next 2, the next opportunity to start would be the 27th.
So it'd be a Saturday. So you're talking about 10 days. Yeah, I just don't expect them to want him sitting that long, which is why if he performs well tonight.
I mean, but if you do that the opposite way, sorry, Alex, but real quick, if you don't do it that way and you start Benner, let's say against Tampa, so he gets the game right before the break, so that way it's only a week off, you'll then have a week off at minimum for Joel Hofer. So one of them has to sit for at least a week over the next 10 days or so. I would rather Binnington be the one that sits. He started a ton of games. He's seen a ton of action. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world for him to get some rest prior to the start of the new year. When you're playing such a condensed schedule, he's going to be important for this team at some point this year. I am under no belief that he has lost his opportunity to be the starter for the Blues the rest of the way. I still think he's your best guy eventually, but he's not right now, and that means to me, if you're still of the belief that this team could get back into things, and the Western Conference has made that so, you should go to Joel Hofer for the next 2 games. After tonight. Tonight you go back to Binnington because it's a back-to-back.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I said this on postgame, and I still believe this. Like, when it gets to a must-win situation for the Blues later on in the season, if they get to that point, then Binnington's probably still going to be my guy just because of how he performs. But for right now, this is the same thing that they did with Ville Husso and Jordan Binnington a few years ago, where they said, look, Binnington's struggling. Husso is hot. Let's run with the guy. And I think this is also good for Joel Hofer because let's not deny the obvious. Joel Hofer's the future for the Blues. And I'm not trying to like predict 5 years down the road, but I think that's part of the reason why the Blues are doing this.
Can I give you the Blues projected lineup for tonight?
Oh yeah, I saw this. It's how they ended the game last night, so I don't totally get it, but a little bit I get it. Go ahead though.
Did you see the top line?
Yeah. That's what they had in the third period last night.
Is it Torpo?
Torpo, Thomas, and Booch.
And I think there's a reason behind that, but I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
Neighbors, Shin with Stenberg, Suter, Dvorsky, and Berggren. And Joseph, Sonny, and Luff. That means that Robbie Fabry would be getting a healthy scratch.
So Fabry was on that top line, which, boy, that went quick.
Yeah, that line, by the way, the numbers...
Oh, it was terrible.
Were not great. The Neighbors, Shin, Stenberg line, by the numbers, was even worse. Eye test didn't necessarily match that for me. I thought they were fine, but the numbers were not good.
The line and why you're seeing Torpo up on that top line is the line that was awesome last night that Jim Montgomery talked about. He didn't want to break it up because he said it'd be dumb to, was Suter, Dvorsky, and Berggren.
They were great.
I think it was an 87% Corsi rating, like scoring
Outshot
chances.
the opposition 12-2.
Yeah, I mean, like he said, he's like, I can't break that line up. That line was too freaking good for us. It'd be dumb for us. He said they were the best line. We thought about kind of dispersing them amongst all the other lines, but no, you keep that line together. So, unfortunately, like they tried the Neighbors and it fell off, and I think you do need some depth. I can understand if people are frustrated that Torpo's on the top line, but who else are you going to put up there?
I would just flip Joseph with Torpo.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think Torpo is a guy that you put in your top 9. I feel like we've seen that, but I mean, Toropchenko has how many goals this season?
1.
Yeah,
they put Torpo up there because of the defense. They put Torpo last night up there because he was playing the best defensive hockey, and they said we need to shut down the opposition's line.
He has 5 goals in his last 99 games. That guy is now going to get...
What about his last 100 games?
Well, that's since the start of last season. I'd have to look back at his final game in 2024. My guess is it's 5 goals in his last 100 games. That's not a guy that can play top line minutes for me. I'm sorry. And I like Alexei Toropchenko, but that's not the role that he should be in. Yeah. We've seen this before. We've seen him in a third line capacity, and we all said afterwards, like, yeah, that's just not probably going to be in his future.
Yeah. I'm with you. I also don't know if Joseph's played lately up to snuff there.
Your options are just limited if you're planning to keep that Suter, Dvorsky, Berggren line together. I would try Berggren up there, personally.
Or Stenberg. I mean,
Stenberg just is he seems to be a pass-first player, and if I have Stenberg with Thomas and
be
Booch,
a lot of passing.
I don't know if anybody's shooting the puck.
Yeah, but you know what? At some point, all that passing is going to connect, and the goalie's going to be like, where am I? I'm with you. Like, this is just unfortunately where you're at right now. I don't like the idea of Torpo up there, but you're probably thinking like, okay, well, let's have top line cancel out top line and hope that the second and third lines can score, because Berggren and Stenberg, to me, were the highlights of that game last night. I mean, man, they were generating offense left and right. That pass that Berggren made to Suter, where he 360'd the defenseman, I don't know how he snuck that pass through 3 defenders.
And I thought Stenberg made some really good plays last night.
He played with his head up. And all 3 of them, Berggren, Stenberg, and Dvorsky, every time the puck went into the corner, they were going after it like a hound dog. That is what the Blues have been lacking when they were healthy. So I loved all 3 of their games, specifically Berggren and Stenberg. And so I appreciate that Jim. I mean, people complain so much about how he juggles up the lines all the time. That line was the best line probably the Blues have had in any game this season of Suter, Berggren, and Dvorsky. Good. Keep it together, and let's see if they can make some magic tonight.
He's Alex. That's T-Bone. I'm BK. Blues back in action this evening in a back-to-back. The back end of that, the Rangers will be in town. Pre-game starts at 6. Puck drop at 7. Joey Vitale on the call, and he joins us next here on 101 ESPN.
Tanner Hendrickson here with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Blues took down the Winnipeg Jets last night 1-0. They'll be back in action tonight as they host the New York Rangers. We'll have pregame coverage tonight starting at 6 o'clock with Alex Ferrario. Then puck drop at 7 o'clock with Kerber and Joey Vitale. The Sports Center update was driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Been a busy first hour. We had Dustin May's introductory press conference right off the top. Talked a little bit about Joel Hofer as well. And now we are joined by Joey Vitale, the Blues analyst for 101 ESPN and FanDuel Sports Midwest. You can hear him on the call tonight for Blues versus Rangers. Pregame starts at 6, puck drop at 7 on your home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. Joe joins us now via the Callier and Thompson hotline. Joe, appreciate the time as always, man. How you doing this morning?
Joey! You're headed to Florida this weekend.
Yes, I am, Alex. Thank you. I can't wait. Give me some sun. Get me some vitamin D. Looking forward to it. How you boys doing today?
We're doing fantastic because the Blues got a nice win last night, Joe. 1-0 against the Winnipeg Jets. Hofer was fantastic. Let's start there. What have you seen from the young man in his last few starts, really, going back all the way to Thanksgiving now?
You know what, BK? I've seen what we saw for the last couple years, honestly. I think that this is who he is. The start of the year was not favorable, and he'd be the first to admit that, but that was the exception. You go back to last season, I thought he was one of the best backups in the league. There were a lot of folks out there, experts around the league, not just bias of St. Louis, that thought that this was the best goalie tandem in the league. And part of being a best goalie tandem is that second one. And I think that Hofer earned that right. Now, things have slipped a little bit this year. I don't think he's still in that class, and rightfully so. But I think last game, really he's getting back to showcasing what he does very well. And, it really starts with the puck handling. We did a graphic in Ottawa a few weeks ago where I'm not sure where he is numbers-wise right now, but as far as coming out, playing the puck, making executed passes to get out of your zone, he's one of the best. He was ranked number 1 at the time. Not sure where he is right now, but he's one of the best in the league at coming out, stopping the puck, moving it, and getting the team out of the D zone as quickly as possible. Curbs and I were talking about on the broadcast last night. This was a characteristic of a goaltender. 15, 20 years ago, it was a luxury. Marty Brodeur, of course, was really the first goalie that acted as that third defenseman, and goalies before that were just, their job was to stop the puck. But now it's not a luxury anymore. It's a necessity. It's a requirement. Every goalie has got to do it if they want to survive in the league, because it just takes away so much forecheck pressure. It doesn't allow the other team to get in and establish a cycle, any kind of offensive zone time. And Joel is one of the best at it. He didn't get peppered with shots last night, mostly because of playing the puck. He really neutralized the forecheck of the Winnipeg Jets. It's going to be super important if he ends up playing against the Florida Panthers, which I would imagine he gets that start. He's played very well in Southern Florida here coming up next week. So again, it's the playing the puck, and then everything else comes naturally to him as far as just being on top of the crease. He was aggressive, made the saves he needed to make. He's a big body, as we all know. But to me, his game begins and ends when he is playing the puck very well and not allowing the other team to come in and get set up.
Joe, Binnington, of course, gets the start in this one tonight with the back-to-back. And Jim Montgomery talked a little bit ago with you guys saying that, look, Binnington didn't need Binnington needed a reset, but so did the team, because the team had been playing poorly in front of him. I just looked at this. He hasn't had a save percentage above 900 since before Thanksgiving. When you think back to the last 5 starts for Jordan Binnington, do you look at that as Jordan Binnington struggling or the team struggling in front of him?
Listen, Alex, it's totally a combination. This is such a back and forth relationship where when one's off, the other's going to be off too. it's really no different than a marriage. You know, if your spouse is having a rough day or overwhelmed, and you're going to a party, you're going to, you know, Christmas mass, it just affects everything, right? And it's no different. This is just all that it is relationships. And if you can't lean and depend and trust, of course, your defensive core and the forwards coming back, and it really kind of breaks down your own individual game. And then once you start kind of second guessing and become hesitant, then your game starts falling apart. So it absolutely is. I mean, it goes hand in hand. You need both, right? It's like, you know, which axles are more important in a car, the front axles or the rear axles? It's like, well, you need them both. I don't care how good your front axle is. If you have a bad rear axle, your car's not going to move. So it is both, you know, and I'll kind of paint a picture in more simplistic terms and more exact terms to kind of give you a little bit more specific so it's not so broad. I don't want to sound, you know, very generic and cliche, but, you know, there was a game, you know, a few weeks ago where it was the goal that Jordan Binnington got pulled on. You know, it was the second goal of the game. It was very early in that game. I'm sure you guys remember it. The first shot from the outside looked like it was tipped, maybe a little bit of a subtle screen. And then it was the second shot that beat him on that far side right in front of the Blues bench. We all remember the pulling mostly because of the reaction for Jordan Binnington after. He comes back to the bench. Him and Jim Montgomery had some choice words. I know you guys remember the game now. And, you know, you go back to that goal. It's a goal that beats him on the far side posting in. Okay, should he have that save? Probably. So people always think, you know, he didn't make the save. His angle was off. He's out. You know, what people don't necessarily see sometimes, and I'll kind of take you deeper into that play. You know, I forget what defenseman it was on that kind of that rush up the ice, but it was right when the other team, you know, his penalty was expiring. The opposing players coming up the ice right in front of the Blues bench, and there's two defenders that are there, but no one's going. Like, no one's being aggressive. No one's going after the attacker. No one's going after the puck carrier. And so the defenders just kind of sat back and drifted and stayed in the middle and drifted and drifted. And all of a sudden, I believe it was maybe the Ducks even, but they shoot the goal, it goes posted in. So you're thinking, okay, bad goal. But, you know, Jordan Binnington, he wants his defensive group to be aggressive. You know, when you're aggressive and you're assertive, he can adjust his game. But if you're going to sit back and you're not going to play that aggressive style, then all of a sudden it becomes a little in doubt what he's supposed to do. So on that specific play, he needed to go. He needed to close that play, get a stick on puck, deflect it, do something. But everyone just backs off and allows that forward attacker to come all in and go posting in. So to answer your question, Alex, there's a specific one for you. Yes, you need both. You need to make the save. There's no doubt about that. He can do better. He knows it. But everyone in front of him certainly can find more of an aggressive an aggressive, you know, state of mind, I would say, as well, more of a mindset that will really help him.
Joey, the other player that I wanted to ask you about, we're talking to Joey Vitale, Blues analyst for 101 ESPN and FanDuel Sports Midwest. He joins us each Thursday here on BK and Ferrario. Was Otto Stenberg making his debut for the Blues last night? I thought he looked really good. What did you see from him that stood out to you about his game?
Well, you know, we knew what type of player he was at this level because I think he was probably the best at the main camp and all throughout preseason. You know, and BK, when the preseason started, Alex and I were talking about it last night, but all eyes were on Dalibor Dvorsky. You know, was he going to make that step? Was he going to make that jump and make this team? Of course he didn't. I thought he had a pretty good camp. He had really good moments. But it was actually Otto Stenberg that kind of stole the show in my mind. And I think a lot of hockey ops folks that I talked to felt the same way. You know, he's a young kid who comes in. You know, he was kind of that probably third or fourth prospect they're thinking, and he stole the show because – each and every day in practice and games, you give him a little bit more. He took on a little bit more. You put him up on a second line. Okay, he absorbed that and made the players around him better. He had some practices with Robert Thomas and Jimmy Snuggerud. He made them better, right? So that's what stands out about his game coming into last night, that he's a player that makes other players better. You know, and then what happened last night, you know, Curbs and I talked about it before the game in hopes of what we're going to see, and it came true. He's a player that thrives at the National Hockey League level. And I know this is going to sound obvious, but when you put him around good hockey players, he's going to elevate his game. So that's obvious, right? You play alongside Nathan MacKinnon, you're going to be a better hockey player. Now, I get that. What I'm saying is not only would playing with Nathan MacKinnon make you a better hockey player, which player can make Nathan MacKinnon a better hockey player? That's what stands out about Stenberg, is that last night, Jake Neighbors and Braden Shen, right? You're going to play well because you're around better hockey players. That's the obvious one. But I thought Braden Shen and Jake Neighbors' game went up a level because they're playing with him. He does things like going to the net. He drives the net, creates space behind him. A very cerebral thinker. You can see the way he put pucks into spaces where his players were going to skate into that, not necessarily where they are, but what they're going to be. They think of like a hunter. If you're going duck hunting. You go duck hunting. You see a duck in the air. You're not going to shoot where the duck is, or else by the time the bullets and the pellets get there, the duck's already gone. You got to shoot the gun. It's called leading the duck. You got to lead the duck. And I think that Otto Stenberg is really good about leading the player. He puts that puck in spaces where he knows his teammates can get into it. So he makes other players around him better, not just that they make him better. So he's a player that thrives at the National Hockey League level because he's around very smart hockey players. And I think he thrives under the structure that the NHL can provide because, guys, we know it. The American Hockey League is a jungle down there, man. It is just wild. It's a wild, wild west. You got guys going crazy, fighting, hitting. There's no structure. You have guys coming in and out of the lineup all the time. I think he's a player that really thrives under that structure.
You just put on a clinic, by the way, Joe, about hunting and relationships for our young lad, Tanner Hendrickson here.
Have you been hunting before, Joe? Are you a hunter?
Oh, yeah. Big hunter, BK. Big hunter. I'm going to try to raise my voice. I'm coming down highway far right now, leaving the Blues practice, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. It's raining cats and dogs. Funny thing about cats and dogs, they always say raining cats and dogs. That actually comes from the old town of London. When you're in London, back in the day, London, it rained a lot. And, back in the day, dogs and cats, there were a lot of stray dogs and cats on the street. And, this is back in the 1800s and 1700s. So all these wild dogs and cats, they were all over London. And these big monsoons, these like weekly, week after week rains came in. And so all these stray dogs and cats, especially in the winter, they would go down in the sewers, to protect themselves from the rain. Now, what would happen is there'd be so much rain, all of a sudden the sewers would fill up really quickly. So then all the cats and dogs, they would die in the sewers because they got flooded. And so then all the water would push these cats and dogs out on the street. And so you'd be walking down the London streets and you would see all these dead cats and dogs. They'd be lined up the London streets. So that's where the term is raining cats and dogs came from. So there you go.
Thanks for making that morbid before noon, Joe.
Sorry.
No, we appreciate it. We never know where these conversations are going to go, but we always enjoy the fact that they end up there. Joe, appreciate the time as always, man. Drive safe. We'll talk with you again next week. Actually, we won't because it's going to be Christmas next week. And then the week after that, we're also off. So enjoy your couple of weeks off, and we'll talk with you after the new year, Joe.
Hey, Merry Christmas. This was a lot of fun. Thanks, guys.
Take it easy. That's Joey Vitale joining us here on 101 ESPN. Appreciate his time.
I gave him ish last night on postgame because on the broadcast they were talking about Robin Williams and they were listing off some of his best movies. One, he didn't mention Jumanji, which I told him, what the hell are you doing? And then he called Flubber Blubber. He goes, what about that movie Blubber? And I go, you like that movie Blubber, Joe? He goes, what is it, not Blubber? I said, no, it's Flubber, but you were close.
It's close enough. Everybody knew what he was talking about.
Close enough.
Are you a hunter? Have you ever gone duck hunting before?
What question is that, man? Do I look like a hunter?
No.
That's like asking me. That's me asking you if you're a hunter.
Would you like to ask me?
No.
Have I ever been hunting before?
No, you just told me you went once, and my guess is it didn't go well.
It was in high school. I didn't realize how early you have to go. I think it was turkey hunting. We were down at the Lake of the Ozarks, went with my buddy, and he said, hey, we're going to get up at 4 a.m. tomorrow. And I said, excuse me? Why would we do that?
I heard horror stories of my father when they, because he went with his dad, and they, would kill the deer, and then they'd hang the deer and have to gut the deer. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing any of that.
We did not get a turkey.
No, we
just sat there.
Did you complain the whole time?
No, I mean, I fell asleep. We just sat there for multiple hours.
If you can't
just
snore, then you're going to alert the turkeys, and they're going to run away.
Yeah, did not.
T-Bone looks like a hunter. From Olney, Illinois, T-Bone is a hunter.
Not a hunter. Not a hunter. The big thing, though, in Olney, they give the opening of deer season, you can get a excused absence to go hunting.
That's amazing. We got multiple texts on the text line.
Call us sissies.
My brand is strong. Did you hunt for soy? Was BK soy hunting? Coming up next, 314-399-9646 is the Your Comfort Service text line for questions and answers here on BK and Ferrario. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for questions and answers. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and get them in right now on the Air Comfort Service text line. From the 314, BK, Ferrario, please tell me Dustin May has a higher ceiling than just a possible low floor. And if so, please explain. I really want to like the addition.
Not you, Tanner.
What the?
Not you.
I think his ceiling may be a little overstated at this point.
It's not what it was when he was with the Dodgers.
No. Unless he gets back to his velo. If he can regain that velo this year, that changes things quite a bit because that's really been his biggest issue. He just doesn't have the same velocity that he had early on in his career.
And I have to imagine the reason that velo dipped last year was because of how much weight he lost.
It definitely didn't help.
If you're going to bump up to 225, like he said, or at least that's what he hopes for, I mean, now you've got more body mass to use with the velocity.
Absolutely. And if you can get back up there and you're throwing, 96, 97 instead of 95, the ceiling does increase a bit. I think you're hoping for him to become a really interesting mid-rotation starter. A guy that has the upside to look great in any given game, but probably finishes with like a 4 ERA, a little above league average as a starter. And for $12 million, that's more than what you paid for. And with that kind of stuff, the way that he has, it could be the kind of starter that gets you either a really solid return at the deadline or somebody that you want to have back on that mutual option. Or that you decide, you know what, let's tear apart this mutual option. Let's set a 3-year deal together. Like, let's do a 3-year, $75 million contract with Dustin May. So that's why I like the signing. He's only 28 years old. And if there is a little bit of upside to be a mid-rotation starter, hey, man, that's a nice signing to have for $12 million this year.
Yeah, I think his upside is like, I would even say it's better than just a low 4s ERA. I think he can be like a 3.8, 3.7 ERA guy. And like the reason you do this, one, when you see him pitch, if he's healthy, you're going to see the movement on some of his stuff. It does look better than what the under the hood numbers will tell you, and it's why it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of tinker with it. But here's this for Baseball Savant and why you dream on some of his stuff. This is similar pitchers based on the velocity and movement on his pitches. Zach Wheeler, Sandy Alcantara, Tanner Houck.
There you go.
That's some pretty good guys to be in company with when it comes to just the movement and velocity of your stuff.
That was a much simpler way to say what I said.
Yeah.
Good work.
You're welcome.
Should have asked Tanner first. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line for questions and answers. From Bacon Wrapped Wiener, can we please get a measuring tape to find out if Tanner is actually 6 foot? I don't believe him.
No, 6 feet.
Mike Ryder's
not in there.
Mike Ryder, do you have
do not need a measuring tape.
I'd like to have one. I'd like to find out how tall he is.
I would say 5'5".
But we need him to
5'5"?
We needed him to take his shoes off because we know he's stuffing those.
T-Bone, if I stood next to you right now, you're about 5 inches shorter than me. So 5'7", maybe?
5'5".
I think you come up to my chest.
Yeah, 5'7", maybe?
Yeah.
Hey, do you know how tall you are? In all seriousness?
Yeah.
Is 5'7" about right?
You're
about right.
You're shorter than my wife, and my wife is like 5'8".
Yeah, that's my size.
No,
I know.
You're shorter than
No,
5'8".
I'm 5'8".
5'7".
We round up to 6.
399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. Mike Ryder coming in with
Mike.
A tape
You
measure.
talk. I'm going to measure.
All right. From They're Not In Yet.
They're not in what?
Well, they're not in what?
T-Bone. What do you think the average Cardinals attendance will be next year? Could it be as low as 10 or 15,000? 15 to 20 would be my guess. Somewhere around there. Somebody says, Alex looks very spiffy today, guys.
Thank you. 69 inches.
Nice. What's that?
5'9".
He's wearing shoes, though, that he stuffed, so 5'7".
Yeah, 5'7".
5'8". 5'8".
Thanks, Mike Ryder.
Text line said, yard gnomes are not tall, T-Bone.
True.
Dude, T-Bone and Tim share their lifts. T-Bone's a little taller than Tim.
Tim wears hats, too, though, so
yeah,
that makes it look a little taller.
Somebody said just look up his tennis recruiting profile.
What's the toughest thing to do because you're short, T-Bone?
Toughest thing to do because I'm short. Well,
Get something off the top shelf.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Do you have to ask for help at the grocery store?
Lift me, please.
When you go to the hardware store, do you have to be like, somebody get this machine to get that paint can down?
I've got T-Bone's tennis profile.
It's not fun anymore, T-Bone. Now I feel bad. You found his profile?
Mm-hmm.
I got to see this. What's the stud muffin look like?
You had some doubles. Ashley and Alex were your opponents. You were with Macy.
You were
You
a
guys won a
two-star.
couple of matches there.
That is not. I don't know who Amacy is.
You lost to Cameron, Ireland.
From?
Embarrassing.
Ireland. I don't know. Trevor Lee. Ooh, tough one.
Geez, 6-1.
Oh,
My God,
6-0
T-Bone.
against. You were with Austin. You lost against Andrew and Trevor.
T-Bone, you
6-0.
brag a lot.
Austin was never my doubles partner.
No, that's not true. On June 20th of 2016, you guys were in a match together.
Oh, that in the summer?
at
Oh, I'm sure.
Effingham Park District.
Yeah, okay, I don't doubt
1028 East Gordon Ave.
There's a lot of losses over here, Tanner.
that. Because that was the summer program.
Well, you don't think you just take the summer off?
Yeah, Trevor won that one. Big time.
Trevor. I've always known Trevor was a stud.
I don't think that's my profile.
It is.
It's not.
from your summer matches.
Does it say that he's known as Stud Muffin?
No, it doesn't
No?
mention that on here. Individual player record. Here we go. Oh, these are also summer ones.
I don't think you can find my record at whatever the high school association is.
Advantage News. LNC radio students launch careers in sports broadcasting. Radio students Nathan and Tanner are already working in sports radio, set to graduate in the spring.
Is that because your tennis career didn't really pan out?
Oh, at college, my record had to be like 1-8.
Oh, here we go.
We were terrible as a program.
Now we've got you.
We had a volleyball coach as our head coach.
Oh.
There's a reason they closed the program. It's now pickleball.
Still got that full ride, though, baby.
That's right. That's right. My college was paid for.
Hell yeah.
So I don't care how bad I lost.
Someone's asking, when you use the urinal, do you have to use tiptoes?
No. I'm not that small.
Okay. Valid question. Oh, somebody made a great point. Trevor could totally hit a Ryan Helsley fastball.
No, he couldn't. I don't know who Trevor is. No way.
Trevor could smash a Ryan Helsley fastball.
All right.
Someone thinks we're being...
Let's find my real record.
Someone thinks we're being you-know-whats to Tanner right now, BK.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you could look up my profile. I didn't exactly have a whole lot
There's
of
not one.
statistics
I don't have
when it
a
came
profile.
to the high school football ranks.
I called it at sophomore year of high school that sports weren't going to be my expertise moving forward.
Yeah, I knew what was
Whoa,
coming.
what'd you say we knew?
I knew what was going to be in my future and what
You were
wasn't.
a tight end.
I was indeed. Number 84 at Blue Springs High School. 6 foot, $170.
You T-Bone, you looking up his scouting profile or his
No, I'm trying to find my real record, not whatever the summer one is.
T-Bone's trying to find out who this
That
Trevor...
was such a cherry-picked stat from that stupid summer team that I joined.
Someone...
I kicked ass in high school, okay?
Doug's lost...
I got to the state tournament.
That's like me saying I kicked ass in 8th grade in basketball, man.
Sorry, buddy.
I'm going to find it.
When it comes
The
to...
record is the record. So I guess summer just wasn't your thing.
Oh, I just found my high school profile picture.
When it comes to the...
Man, I look good.
Let's see it. Show it for the camera, T-Bone.
Oh, hold on. I got to zoom in.
John scores on the
Is he
YouTube
gotta
chat.
zoom in 'cause you're so
BK's
small?
turkey hunting
It is a
stats.
small.
0 for 1.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Oh, my God.
What is that haircut?
What is that haircut?
It wasn't
Hold
great.
on. Let me see that again. Buddy,
That's a bowl cut.
what were we doing?
I don't know.
Who cut your
Hey,
hair?
listen, I've got no place to. This is glass house.
Are we
over
bringing
here.
back the earring or no?
Oh, come on. There were two.
There were
first
two
all.
of them. He didn't just go one. He went two.
There were 2 earrings. It was in one ear and the other. That was starting in my senior year and going up until I got married. Chose at that point, it's time to no longer have those. It just wasn't part of my look any longer. Somebody said content might be light today. You're sure correct.
Yeah,
Coming up in about
darn
15
tootin'.
minutes, it's time for More Likely to Happen. You guys give us 2 scenarios. We'll tell you which one is more likely. But next, Mizzou's bowl game just got that much more intriguing. We'll talk about it next here on 101 ESPN. All right, so we were talking in the last segment about how we looked when we were little.
Okay, we gonna show this?
I've got this for the YouTube chat.
I got to scroll back up for mine.
That's I think a 4-year-old BK. If you are listening on the radio, youtube.com/101ESPN STL is where you can go to find us.
And here's 16-year-old Alex Ferrario with his wife, 16-year-old Katie Ferrario. How about that?
And as I mentioned in the last segment, I was throwing stones from a very glass house when I was making fun of T-Bone's hair. For those in the YouTube chat, this is a middle school edition of BK.
Looks literally like your kid.
Some very, very delicious looking hair. All right, so that is the recap of our questions and answers.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Mizzou. Big news today, Bo Prabula officially entering the transfer portal. Alex, this is something that we had heard a lot about. There were a lot of rumblings that he could potentially be heading in this direction. I didn't think it would happen before the bowl game, though, and the fact that we hadn't seen anything about it, and we're, a week away now from Mizzou's bowl game. I'm a little surprised to see the timing of it, considering he doesn't have to enter until January. But whatever. Ultimately, this gives Mizzou an opportunity to see Matt Zollers. And to me, this makes the bowl game that much more intriguing. I'm curious to see what Matt Zollers looks like when he's not going up against, one of the best defenses in the country, which was his debut against Texas A&M. He did not look good in that game. He looked completely overmatched, which was the expectation going up against a Texas A&M Mike Elko style defense. So I'm intrigued to see it. I want to see what he looks like against Virginia. I know he's going to be doing so with one of his receivers that were here, because Marquise Johnson has also entered the transfer portal. Joshua Manning has entered the transfer portal, and Kevin Coleman is going to be graduating after this season. So it's not exactly a star-studded lineup that he's going to be going out there with, but I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I do too, especially for how much noise there is of, does Mizzou go to the portal to find their next quarterback? Do they let Zollers run with it? I mean, you're right. This is intrigue and honestly a massive game for Zollers now, because you get to go out there and play against Virginia, although I know it's not that juggernaut of a team in the SEC, but it's still a bowl game. You're going to be down some weapons. What do you look like? And if you have a good outing, then I have to imagine there's a little bit more optimism of you being the guy that gets the keys to the Tigers next year. And if it doesn't look as good, then does it become a little bit more aggressive of going into the portal for that quarterback? The Prabula thing actually doesn't surprise me very much, that he's gone now prior to the bowl game, because I wonder if Mizzou's looking at this as look, we don't think Prabula's back anyway, so there's no point in you being here for the bowl game. Let's let Zollers play.
Yeah, it might have been a situation where Prabula went to drink. I don't know how this all went down, just to be clear, but on that point, Alex, it would make some sense if this was the discussion. Hey, I'm planning to enter the portal. How do you guys want to handle this?
Yeah.
Do you want me to play in the bowl game? I'm sure that if I know anything about Bo Prabula, the guy came back from a busted ankle and decided to play the rest of the way when those games were, relatively speaking, meaningless for Mizzou. So I'm sure he would have been okay playing in this bowl game if that's what Mizzou wanted to do. But if you're Eli Drinkwitz, this is an evaluation point where, hey, I would probably rather see what we have now in Zollers and give it one more chance to find out where he's at, especially coming off of a month of practices, to see what do we need to do in the portal. Is this a scenario where we need to go get a quarterback, or do we think with 9 months of practices, 9 months of us working with him behind the scenes, can Zollers be ready to go for us to start day one of 2026? I don't know how they're going to fall on that, but my guess is that's probably something that led to this decision.
Yeah, I think when you're Mizzou, you have to kind of go with Zollers, even if Prabula did stay, because of what we're talking about. You had to figure out what you were going to have going into portal season. This game is huge for Zollers, because if he shows signs of, hey, okay, after a month of practice, as BK said, imagine what you're going to get to do with a full offseason with Zollers to get him ready to be your quarterback for the upcoming season. He plays poorly, though, after a month of practice. Man, you may, if you're Mizzou, have to look at this and say, hey, we do need to go to the portal now. You may already be behind at that point, because let's just be honest, people are already having conversations with quarterbacks that have put their name in the portal.
Doesn't matter. Until it's signed, we know how this works. They can switch on a last-second phone call.
So you see Zollers, see what he looks like, and then you probably make your decision on what your quarterback situation is going to be for 2026.
Would you guys be interested in Rail? It feels like I have no idea how real it is. All of this stuff is so fickle. It could change tomorrow. It's kind of like coaching searches where one guy's leading one day and then the next day it's a new name that becomes the hot candidate for a job. Michigan, for example, is one of those jobs still open right now. I have no idea who the leading candidate is right now. I would guess Jed Fish. I don't know. I don't think Dillingham has officially announced his extension. Maybe he ends up going there after all. No clue. On the transfer portal side of things for Mizzou, Dylan Raiola, the former Nebraska quarterback that looks and acts like he is Patrick Mahomes. He's modeled his entire game after Mahomes.
I heard he's even going to have an ACL sprain because of it.
He's in the transfer portal. He has not had great numbers at Nebraska. He also has not been surrounded by a great offense. Is that a guy that would intrigue you if you're Mizzou?
It would, because I think Zollers is still an unknown, and you're going into an SEC-heavy schedule this year that you'd like to stay competitive. But I guess the biggest hiccup for me is you're probably paying a lot for Raiola. And boy, because you listed off all of the wide receivers that you're losing, some of the defensive players that you're trying to retain, you do have to spend in other areas to make this team improved.
No doubt.
And can you strengthen your team in multiple areas to where Zollers can get by next season versus going out there and going after a Raiola that I still don't know what Raiola is? Like, it's not as if we're talking about a quarterback that was top 5 in the Heisman conference. He's an unknown. So I'd be fine with it because I think it's name recognition more than anything. But, man, if Zollers performs well against Virginia, and I know it's a bowl game, I know it doesn't matter, but if he looks fine, I think I'd be more likely to just say, let Zollers run with it.
The top transfer quarterbacks in the portal right now, and this could change in the next few weeks. There's still a lot of time before the portal officially opens up. Brendan Sorsby, the Cincinnati quarterback, I was listening to an NFL draft podcast yesterday, and Dane Brugler, the Athletics NFL insider, said he's heard that Brendan Sorsby has $4 million on the table to stay in college going somewhere. I don't know where that program is. He didn't specify, but $4 million for that guy seems crazy to me, but that's the cost of doing business with the top quarterbacks available. So he's kind of at the top of the list right now, and it's still possible he ends up in the NFL draft. DJ Lagway, who has been very erratic in his career, is in the portal. Dylan Raiola from Nebraska is in the portal. There are just not a whole lot of top of the line guys that you'd be interested in going out there and acquiring this offseason. North Texas's quarterback is in the portal now. I would love to see him at Mizzou. I have to imagine he's going to end up
Oklahoma State, right?
Following his coach to Oklahoma State. The other scenario here is, does Drinkwitz import an offense the way that Vanderbilt did when they got Diego Pavia, where they got, I think it was New Mexico's coach plus their quarterback and a couple other players from the offense, because Mizzou has a boatload of money to pay to somebody to come be their OC. Like, they could absolutely steal a sitting group of 5 head coach, make him much higher paid, like 3 times his salary, to come be the OC at Mizzou and take their quarterback along with him. That's very much in play for them. I'll be curious to see what they decide to do here, but they've got the money. They now have the opportunity. We'll see in the bowl game how this all plays out and what it means for Matt Zollers' future at Mizzou as well. Coming up in 15 minutes, the rematch of the playoff series sure looked like 2 teams that have failed to regain their form. We'll talk about that in 15 minutes. More likely to happen next year on 101 ESPN. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for more likely to happen. You guys, wait, today is Thursday. It's supposed to be, believe it or not.
God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Hey, T-Bone.
You blew it!
Yeah.
Our texters and YouTube chat are gonna be so mad.
Honestly, none of them realized it either, so
we were
joke's
talking to
on you.
Ryder during the break. None of us looked down. I'm sure T-Bone was just like,
I looked at the rundown.
He's
Yeah, I
like,
saw, believe it or
I just
make it-
copied and
whatever.
pasted more likely to happen from yesterday.
Nobody knew.
Do you have the bed?
Don't worry, we got this. We got this. Take two.
So glad it's a Thursday. We remembered. It's not like we played another version of
It's like,
another
wait,
game.
We talked to Joey today.
Yeah. It's not like there's a Blues game tonight or anything.
Here we go.
Typed it in now.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so
free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be?
Believe it or not, it's just me.
It's like it never happened.
314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for Believe It or Not. You guys give us a scenario. We will tell you if we are believing it or not here on 101 ESPN.
I swear Lewis and Clark Community College scrubbed the records on the tennis program.
I'm telling you, man, you weren't good.
This is a conspiracy
Trevor
theory.
kicked your ass in the summer, and they said, get this kid off of our website.
I can't find anything about me. It's like I don't exist.
From the 636, this is a non-serious radio show. Just today, man. We're
always serious.
We're trying our best, and that's all we can do. Alex and I are coming down with a bit of a cold.
Yeah.
T-Bone is thinking about how he's going to be off basically each of the next 2 weeks. And he's got 100 hours of best of shows to put together.
Yeah.
So we apologize. Martin sweater vest. Nice show prep. Yeah. Sorry.
Shut up, Martin.
Yeah, shut it, Martin.
My apologies.
Sure, you've never made a mistake in your life, Martin.
All right, guys. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for Believe It or Not. Believe it or not, the best team out of Illinois, SLU, and Mizzou is actually SLU this season.
No, not believe it. They're definitely better than Mizzou. They're not better than Illinois. Illinois is a better basketball team.
I'm gonna believe it.
You're just trying to get.
I haven't watched any of them, so yeah, I'm probably trying to get under your skin. If you were to say which one's going to go deeper in the tournament, I would absolutely say SLU, because Illinois always chokes.
Illinois is a much deeper team than what SLU is. SLU is very good, and they play with a great tempo, and they're very good offensively, as we saw last night where they put up like 110 points. They couldn't beat Illinois head-to-head. They could beat Missouri head-to-head. They're not going to beat Illinois.
I think they would beat Missouri head-to-head.
Yeah.
I'm with T-Bone. I'm not there yet, but they're a really fun team. And they beat the hell out of Bethune-Cookman. I mean, it was 112-53. Oh, boy. If you're just going by the transitive property, it's not close between SLU and Mizzou. The offensive upside for SLU is better, and their defense is much better than where Mizzou is at right now. That being said, the level of athlete on Illinois, I mean, they're a potential top 10 team in the country this year. They have that kind of upside. Illinois right now, for what it's worth, is 12 in the net rankings. SLU is all the way up to 22 at 10-1 so far this year. Their resume has been very impressive. All right, Alex, what do you have for us today?
Believe it or not, Jordan Binnington will be a Blue on March 7th. Whew. March 6th is the deadline, if you were wondering why
I assumed as much.
Picked March 7th. This is a serious radio show, so
I'll say believe it just because we know how little goalies get in return, especially in season. It's just rare to see these kinds of blockbuster goalie trades. And I think the Blues would need to see either him play really well in the Olympics or for him to completely regain form prior to then during the regular season to get the kind of return that they'd be looking for. So I'll say out, but it's a really interesting question.
Or not believe it.
Yeah, I'm not good. That's 3 games we brought up today. I'm going to say not believe as well. We just don't see goalies get moved that often, especially at the trade deadline. So I would say not believe.
Yeah, I'm believing this. Donnie actually is the one that brought this up to me this morning. He goes, do you think they moved Binnington for how good Hofer is? And if Colton Ellis was never claimed by Buffalo and he was in your minor leagues, I do seriously wonder if they'd consider it. But because you have nothing in your minor league system. I mean, you got a young Russian goaltender, this Georgiev that they got that actually looks like he's okay, but he's got some learning to do. Zarenko doesn't look like he's anywhere near close for the NHL, and you just drafted a kid who's 21 years old in Sweden. I don't think you have a replacement if you lose Jordan Binnington. So I'm going to say believe this one. I think he's here up until next year's trade deadline, and then they have a tough decision to make.
Guys, believe it or not, we will see the Cardinals sign a starting pitcher to a multi-year deal.
I thought that was really interesting what Chaim Bloom said in the presser today.
Was he speaking only of the free agent market?
He seemed to be speaking of either, because he said there's opportunities to explore in the trade market, and I think he made reference to free agency as well.
Because, see, I'm going to not believe this. I think that pitcher is going to be via trade. I think they're going to acquire some type of top prospect, and he's going to be closer to the major league level than we think. That's where I think it's coming from. I don't know if they're going back into the waters in the free agency unless there's a free agent that wants to play for St. Louis.
I wonder if there's not a market that's developing for somebody and they're going to suddenly get involved in it. You know, I think they probably, maybe it's the Japanese pitcher that they're looking at and saying, hey, maybe his market's not developing. Maybe we'll get more involved. Maybe it's someone that's in more of that mid-tier that they look at and, hey, Bassett's not going to get 20 mil from somebody else. Well, we'll give you 20 mil and we'll trade you at the deadline. You know, I wonder if it's something like that.
Man, what about Lucas Giolito? Somebody like that.
Giolito's another one. You could do a 2-year, 3-year deal. Do the same thing you just did with Dustin May. I kind of lean believe it. Now, I don't think it's going to be like Evalda's 6-year contract, but I could see maybe they do 2-3-year deal with like a Giolito, 2-year deal with a Tyler Malley, someone like that.
What about Jordan Montgomery?
I would do it. I have serious interest in a Montgomery reunion because I know he hadn't been good when he was in Arizona. I think his elbow was blown out, and he was trying to pitch through it. And then when he finally got talked to the medical staff,
Malley's another one that I have serious interest in. I would be very interested in Tyler Malley if his market doesn't develop. 2-year deal, $35-ish million. I think that would be a great move for the Cardinals. He would be my opening day starter. Like, he is a legitimate, established veteran who could come in here, and he would have value at the trade deadline.
And I think he started on opening day, too.
There you go. I'm not sure, by the way, that Dustin May has actually started an opening day.
Are you saying Chaim is making things up?
No, I'm just trying to find it. I can't find it anywhere as to when he started an opening day. I think I heard him right that he said that.
Yeah.
Oh, he said that. He was the surprise opening day starter in the shortened 2020 season.
Okay.
Stepping in for an injured Clayton Kershaw.
There you go.
Becoming the youngest Dodger opening day starter since Fernando Valenzuela since 1981. He had a strong start, 4 1/3 innings pitched, showcasing his electric stuff and earning a 3-1 record with a 2.57 ERA that came crashing down due to injuries.
Oh, okay.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. AI coming through.
314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for Believe It or Not. We'll get to some of these from the text line now. Believe it or not, Otto Stenberg will be a full-time player for the Blues, even when they get healthy.
I'm going to say not believe this. I was looking more into that. I just don't think you can make it work unless you're getting rid of multiple pieces off of this roster. I actually think Berggren's the one that becomes the guy who's here once everyone is healthy and Stenberg goes back to the AHL.
We know how this works, right? It's the path of least resistance. You can send Stenberg back down. Berggren has to go through waivers. That's how the Blues got him in the first place. I think you keep him up. Otto Stenberg goes right back down. He learns from his experience down at the AHL level, so Stenberg is the one that is the odd man out.
Stenberg is going to be he'll be an everyday player next year for you if he continues to look good until people come back. Because I know a couple of guys were skating earlier today. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but you're still going to be without at least 2 guys until January.
Yeah,
so
Holloway and is it Bukestad is the other?
Well, no, Bukestad's the one that's kind of week to week. Snuggerud is the wrist injury, the wrist surgery.
Oh yeah, he's skating, but
that's a wrist surgery. So you're talking 6 to 8 weeks, they said, which is January. And Walker's the other one too that you're out.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line for Believe It or Not, guys. Believe it or not, the Avs will clinch a playoff spot before the Blues are eliminated from playoff contention. They've been ridiculous.
Believe this. Blues are probably going to be in this thing all the way up towards the end because the Western Conference is so bad. The Avalanche are they're on pace to do what the Boston Bruins did and probably surpass it if it keeps up this way.
I wonder when the last time was that we saw a team win 24 of their first 33 games. They've only lost in regulation two times.
Yeah. Well, what did Boston do last year, 34 games in? Or not last year, when
check.
2 years ago?
Yeah. Let me see what that one was.
I mean, that's
they would have been up
crazy.
there. They would have been up
What is
there.
that? That was the 23-24 season?
Yes.
So let's look at what they did, because what's 34 games in?
Yeah, they would have been somewhere around that range. I would believe this too, because I think you're right. Blues are going to be in this thing for a while because of just how
Boston was 21-7-6.
Jeez, that's even worse than that.
Is that the season that they... Oh, that's not the season that they finished.
Oh.
Hold on, I got to find it.
At least 24 wins. We're 33 games in for them. Is that right? Yeah, 33 games.
Boston was 27-4-2.
Oh my God.
And they finished that season 65-12-5.
Yeah, so
and then
here
we're
you go.
out in the first
And
round.
then we're bouncing in the first round.
Non-COVID seasons.
Poor Jim
I'll go ahead
Montgomery.
and throw that as a caveat.
UAI in this too?
Huh?
UAI in this too?
No, Sports Reference.
Damn.
Colorado, 24 wins through their first 33 games. Other teams that have done this: the Rangers in 2023, Boston in 2022, Tampa in 2018 and 2017. Columbus actually did this in 2016, and that's the end of the list in the last decade.
I have no recollection of that Rangers team even from a couple of years ago.
That was the one that, that was the one that Kreider had like 50 goals or something like that.
114 points on the season.
How about the irrelevant sports franchise in terms of the Columbus Blue Jackets? Seems pretty relevant right there, doesn't it?
Yeah, for one season, they had 108 points that year, lost in the first round of the playoffs.
Could you name 3 players off of that roster?
Nick Foligno. I only know that because I was looking at it as you asked.
Rick Nash, is he on there?
Rick Nash was retired at
Brandon
that point. Brandon Saad.
24 goals for him. For them that season.
What's his name been goalie?
Boone
there?
Jenner.
Boone Jenner.
The Florida
Bobrovsky.
goalie. Bobrovsky, yeah.
The greatest defenseman to ever play the game, Zach
931 save
Werenski.
percentage.
Holy cow, that's ridiculous.
That was John Tortorella. John Tortorella was the head coach there.
Yeah. Pretty good season for the Blue Jackets.
I want one of those.
And an irrelevant franchise.
100%. That is correct. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to dive into the junk drawer. But next, the rematch of the playoff series sure looks like a game between two teams that haven't been able to regain their form. Which one's more likely to do so the rest of the way? We'll talk about it next year on 101 ESPN.
Tanner Hendrickson here with the Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Blues took down the Winnipeg Jets last night, 1-0. They'll be back in action tonight as they take on the New York Rangers. Well, pregame coverage starting at 6 o'clock with Alex Ferrario. Puck drop at 7 o'clock with Chris Garber and Joey Vitale. This Sports Center update was driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. We got to see last night a rematch of the first-round playoff series between the Jets and the Blues, a series that was fun as hell to watch up until the very last couple of seconds, unfortunately, for all of us that were watching that here from the St. Louis perspective.
I thought it was thrilling, BK.
At the time, though, it was like, man, these two teams are on a collision course.
Yep.
And it felt as though it was potentially the start of something, maybe even a rivalry between the two that could meet in the postseason for years to come. And then you saw them last night. Jets are now below 500. Blues obviously at below 500 as well. Jets didn't really have any threat to score for most of the game. The Blues are a shell of the team that we saw from a year ago. Alex, how did this happen? Why are these two teams struggling the way that they are after we saw such a great version of them, 7 months ago?
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, part of it is the identity's not the same. Like last year in that playoff series, there were 846 hits between the two teams in 7 games. Like, I mean, that last night didn't get physical until the last 5 minutes of the hockey game when Winnipeg was just being dumb. The Blues, I mean, we've discussed by now at how difficult it is to try and make sense of this. Now at least you can, because their offense is just completely banged up with injuries. But, I mean, they just don't play the same style that they did. They're not connected like they were. And, frankly, they don't play with that physical passion like they had last year against the Winnipeg Jets. I actually thought the more alarming scenario was the Winnipeg Jets, because they were healthy. All of their roster was what their roster was at the beginning of the season, and they looked like they were playing at the same level on the Blues, if not worse than the Blues at times. And that's problematic if you're a team that's like winning window is now for a few more years, while you've got Connor Hellebuyck, who's at a decent ripe age. That team doesn't look like they're a playoff team. That team doesn't look like they're, frankly, a team that could stay above 500 all season, because they have no offense.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about the Blues not having any offense, and again, rightfully so, because you have no injuries, but even when they were healthy, they didn't have offense. That team beyond Connor, Scheifele, and Velarde doesn't have another double-digit goal scorer on their team. I don't think they've got another goal scorer that's close to 8 goals.
They have the next up is 6, and they've got 4 guys there with Niederreiter, Stanley, Iafallo, and Nemesnikov.
I had to hear you sound it out first, and then I could name it for you.
Thanks, buddy.
Guys, Justin Falk has 8 goals. And all of those guys have 6. So
Falk's, by the way, having a really good season.
He really
quietly.
Him and Prakov switched from last season.
He had 5 in 72 games last year. He's got 8 in 34 right now. Like, they have absolutely switched.
Quick, who leads the Blues in goals this year?
Falk.
No, not Falk. Kyrou. No, not Kyrou. It's dude.
Barron.
What? Holloway.
I thought we were bringing him
You're
over.
right on all of them. Falk, Holloway, Neighbors, and Kyrou are all tied.
I actually thought Holloway had 9.
With 8 goals so far on the season. Quick, where does Falk rank on the Blues in points so far this year?
Top
I'm
5,
gonna
I'll
go
say 4.
third. I was going third.
Second, 18 points on the season behind only Robert Thomas. That speaks to where the Blues are at.
Yeah. So they got their own.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Speaks to where the Blues are
I tell
at.
you, if they decide to move him, going to get a really good return for Justin Falk. But the bigger problem that I took away from the game last night is, guys, Winnipeg might be closing down shop soon. Like, they got a young Kyle Connor and Velarde, great. Hellebuck's getting older. They do not have secondary offense. The Jonathan Taves experiment didn't work like I thought it might work at the offseason. So, Blues got their own issues. We'll see what happens there. Winnipeg, I think, has got bigger issues, because I don't know how you fix not having secondary scoring.
I mean, that's basically what they were last year, though. That's what I find so strange about them is, like, this is not new. Cole Perfetti has had a disappointing season.
Perfetti and Lowry were the ones last year that it was like, well, there's your secondary scoring.
Didn't they lose? Who'd they lose in
Ehlers was another guy.
He was the middle tier guy because last year he had Scheifele and Connor who combined for 80 goals. Velarde had 27, and then there was Ehlers at 24 in 69 games. He missed a decent portion of the final month or so of the season, but then it was Perfetti with 18, Niederreiter with 17. It was a bunch of like 15-goal scores. So it wasn't as though they had that middle tier last year, but they were so freaking elite at goal prevention that it made up for their issues elsewhere. That they were not a team that was going to dominate you with goal scoring. It's why we went into it thinking, hey, or at least some people did, you included, Alex, the Blues actually might have a decent shot here if they can get to Connor Hellebuck. And Hellebuck had all of his issues in the playoffs, and we all know the way that story went. Hellebuck has missed some time this year. He's still been really good, though. He has a .920 save percentage when he's been healthy. I'll go on the record. I think the Jets are going to be fine. I think they're more likely to regain their form than the Blues are to regain their. Because their entire identity is tied into Connor Hellebuck's going to start 60 games for us. He's going to steal 40 of them. And then hopefully we can win half of the games that are backups in there. And I think they can. I think they're going to be fine.
But before Hellebuck's injury, they were 11-7 on the year. I mean, they weren't.
But that's good enough in this conference to get to the playoffs.
It's good enough to get to the playoffs, but it's not good enough to do anything in the playoffs.
Oh, agreed. I don't think they're a legitimate contender, but I think they're going to get back to the postseason, and that's the bar that I'm talking about.
But they're not going to be last year's team. They're not going to be one of the best teams in the national.
Agreed.
They're going to be a wild card team. I never
felt like that was likely, though.
No, they're going to be a wild card team. And honestly, the other problem is they don't have anything to fall back on. They're kind of what you tell the story all the time about the Peyton Manning theory, where it's like you lose your quarterback, we're bleeped. They had the third worst record in the National Hockey League in that window that Connor Hellebuck was gone. Like, we thought the Blues were bad in that window. They were significantly worse. They were like 3-7-4 or something like that. They don't have a fallback plan. So, yeah, Connor Hellebuck's great when he's in net and he's your go-to guy, but you're not scoring goals, so you're going to have to win games. Same way the Blues have been winning games, 1-0, 2-1. And if he's not healthy for you at the right time, or when you lose him in the playoffs, your team's done.
I agree, but that's any team that has a superstar, right? Like Edmonton. If they lose one of McDavid or Draisaitl, they're bleeped. Like they're done. It's game over. If the Colorado Avalanche end up losing one of Nathan McKinnon or Cale Makar, you're done. It's game over.
You're right, but you can still find ways to muster up offense and play a different style of hockey. Winnipeg doesn't have a different style of hockey. Winnipeg has a goaltender. Last night, I think their warts were shown last night, and I'll be fascinated to see what other teams do against them the rest of the way. If they can't dump the puck in and forecheck and win the puck back, they got nothing.
But I think a lot of that is a credit to the Blues goalies. That's what I mean. This was a big part of the playoff series as well. The Blues goalies, more specifically in that series, Jordan Binnington, he neutralized the forecheck because he's so good at playing the puck. And that is not something you see very much from other goalies around the league. They're not as good at that as the Blues goalies are. I mean, Hofer might even be better than Binnington, which is saying something, because Binnington's really good at playing the puck and just becoming an extra defenseman back there. So I don't know how many teams can do what the Blues did against Winnipeg in that specific area. And I trust in the regular season, Connor Hellebuck's going to be awesome. The guy's one of the greatest goalies of this generation. I think he's going to do enough to get them back to the postseason. I don't have that same faith on the Blues. I don't think the Blues are regaining the form of what they were a year ago. And what I'm talking about here, Alex, I'm glad you clarified this for me. I'm not talking about either of these teams getting up into legitimate cup contention or being the best team in the Western Conference. Is certainly not in this division.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's done. Like, it's Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota. Everybody else. There's going to be somebody, though, that potentially is in play for that final wild card spot in the West. It's probably going to come down to like LA, San Jose, Utah, and then one of St. Louis or Winnipeg. I think Winnipeg is more likely to be in that mix than St. Louis, personally.
Yeah, and if you have a lack of depth scoring problem, like the Winnipeg Jets, as we've pointed out, we've seen teams can kind of overhaul a little bit of that on the fly, right? I mean, we saw Colorado used to do this for years when they had McKinnon early on. They'd go out and they'd always kind of rebuild their third and fourth line. You can do that at the trade deadline. The problem the Blues have, they don't have those guys like Kyle Connor scoring goals. And it's hard to get that guy at the trade deadline because those guys just don't become available.
Yeah. The 314 says BK is making this prediction based on what? One game? Winnipeg is washed. No, I'm making the prediction based upon seeing the entire Blues season and not just based upon last night's game, where they did look like the better team against Winnipeg, and the fact that I've seen multiple seasons of Winnipeg having the best goalie in the NHL.
Yeah, I do not believe that they're washed, but I will say I think it's going to be interesting this year rather than Winnipeg running away with it, getting to a wild card spot. I do think they're going to be kind of in the same light of the LA Kings, the San Jose Sharks, and the Utah Mammoth. But I don't believe the Blues regain their form, and it's mostly because of their inconsistencies that they've played with. Like, you can't run Joel Hofer out there every night, and you can't expect them to post a shutout. And until you get healthy, you're going to have to win games 1-0, 2-1.
Blues back in action tonight. They're only 4 games out of a playoffs, or excuse me, 4 points rather out of a playoff spot right now, which is crazy to say, but it is technically true. They're also 4 points out of the number 1 overall selection. So glass half full, glass half empty. You can decide how you prefer to look at it. Alex has pregame tonight against the Rangers starting at 6 o'clock, puck drop at 7. It's all right here on your home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. Coming up next, time for the junk drawer here on BK and Ferrario.
Tanner Hendrickson here in Missouri. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live here in the state of Missouri. Now, you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. Maybe you're thinking the Blues are going to get a win tonight, win back-to-back games, so put some money down on them on the money line like I'll be doing. Or Thursday Night Football, 20% profit boost for the Rams versus Seahawks game tonight. So download that DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TANNER. That's code Tanner as new Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code Tanner. The crown is yours. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. T-Bone, you wanted to talk about something in the junk drawer today?
T-Bone, if you bring it up, I will go over there and turn your own mic off.
Don't you pull me into your politics.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was the one that brought it up. All right, let's dive into this. There's a new report out there. This comes from the Basketball Tribune. I wasn't going to give this any oxygen, but then Drew King, who covers Mizzou for Power Mizzou, also put out this idea.
Stop giving it oxygen.
Former G League standout Kyrie Walker is exploring a return to college basketball and is available immediately, according to Chris Diaz. Walker has already drawn interest from a wide range of programs, including Texas Tech, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Louisville, and Mizzou. Currently, Walker is competing in Mongolia's top professional basketball league.
No, Lord.
Earlier in his career, he was regarded as a 5-star recruit in the 2020 high school class, highlighting the talent that once made him one of the nation's most touted prospects. Kyrie Walker, I will go ahead and read you where he has played basketball in recent seasons. He joined Chameleon BX to prepare for the 2021 NBA draft. For that season, he signed with Capital City Go-Go of the G League, joining the team after a successful tryout. In 2022, he was in the A2 Basket League in Greece. In 2023, he was in the Canadian Elite Basketball League. In 2024, he joined the league, Mongolia's top basketball league. Later that year, he played in the Canadian Basketball Elite League. Again, later that season, he joined a new team in the Canadian Basketball League. And this year, he is a part of the Bison in the Mongolian basketball.
Congrats.
Why go back to college?
Yeah.
Look at how he's traveling the world.
Cool, congrats. You can't come back to college, man.
He's played in Greece. He's played in Canada. He's played in Mongolia. And now, at the age of 25 years old, he is trying to have his first official season in college basketball. There's no rules, man. This is amazing. I love college basketball.
I'm done with college basketball if this happens. That's a joke.
Can you imagine if we started like a new European football league, like the Euro League, but for football? And it was just guys that were under-recruited coming out of high school, and they spent like 5 years developing their skills, getting bigger, faster, stronger.
And went to college
then at the
football.
age of 23, they started their collegiate eligibility. It would be amazing.
Nope, I'm done with college basketball if they do this. This is trash.
We've got to put some kind of guardrails on
You prepared
this.
for the NBA draft in 2021. You didn't get drafted. That's it. It's over. You go play in the G League then for the rest of your career until you decide to stop.
I hope Mizzou signs him. I mean, there's no rules, so go ahead.
Cheater. I don't like cheaters.
T-Bone's team signed a guy
Yeah,
from
they're
cheating
Croatia
too.
like
They're not
a
cheating.
month ago.
That's why I respect SLU. There's no cheating there.
Yeah,
Yet.
let's take some time.
No. They have more respect
What
for
I hate
themselves.
about it all is it takes away opportunities for guys that, are actually in college.
I'm guessing Mizzou's interested in this kid because I don't know what
Because
the
they stink.
update is, but Trent Pierce, it sure doesn't seem positive on him playing anytime in the near future. So they really need somebody to add into the mix.
Cool,
And
let's
this
go
guy
get
would
it.
immediately I don't know if he'd be a starter, but he'd probably get top 6 minutes.
Let's go get a grown-ass man to come play college basketball.
Absolutely.
Hey, I mean, if they're not going to put a rule in place,
exactly.
I think you have to do it if you're Mizzou.
Respect the sport,
Right?
damn it. Respect it.
I mean, Illinois did the same thing. BK's right. They brought someone over from, was it Serbia? Is that right?
I don't respect them either.
Somebody said, can we get Bronny James? He's back and forth in the G League. So that is something that I don't know how it works. Honestly, at this point, I don't know. But he played college, went to the NBA, was drafted,
I would think
has
he could
been
come
sent back down to the G League. He hasn't technically exhausted all of his collegiate eligibility.
That's why I think he could.
My guess is that you could do that,
That
right?
is so stupid.
Like if Kobe Brown, for example, just to localize this a little bit, if he had left the year prior, he did not come back for his senior season, and he was drafted late second round, went down to the G League, kind of went up and down, but mostly was spending his time in the G League, and then next year wanted to come back to Mizzou, I think he would be eligible. I truly do not know how that works, though. I truly don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest, you could probably find some kind of reason to sue the NCAA and get a 5th year, too.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that's how it's basically going to have to work from now on is you get 4 years of eligibility at the NCAA level. Not the JUCO level, because as Pavia just won in his lawsuit, that doesn't count towards your eligibility. Used to be that would be your first 2 years, then you got 2 more at the NCAA level. Not anymore.
Somebody on the text line said, guys, Kyrie Walker sucks. It'd be better for Mizzou to play against him. I don't know how you could possibly know that. Unless you're sitting there
Big fan
watching
of the
Mongolian basketball, I don't know how you could possibly know if he's good or not. I have no idea. He might truly be horrific, but I have no
and
clue,
what
man.
BK just said with the football example, he's gotten, now that he's done this professionally, he's probably not big like an NBA guy. He's probably bigger than a college freshman. He could probably bully around a couple of those college kids inside.
All I know, the last season that I can see stats from, he averaged 22, 5, and 3 in 20 minutes per game with the Mongolian Basketball League team. So that seems pretty good to me. I don't know.
That's not bad.
In the Canadian League, he averaged 13, 5, and 2.
Must be a better league.
In the...
What about Greece?
I don't see any stats from that one.
You're all a bunch of cheaters.
Yeah, it'd be great. I think that he should definitely do
Cheating
Bring him
never
in.
does any good.
Spike Week says you cannot come back from to college if you played in the NBA, guys. Are we sure?
Isn't a G Leaguer already at Louisville or something?
Yeah, I think that's true. I don't know.
Neither is the NCAA, and they're afraid when they get sued, so they just say, yeah, you can come back.
Once upon a time, that was the rule. There used to be rules. I don't know how anybody knows that with any kind of certainty. I feel like right now, they're the raptor that's testing the fence, and now they're just like, this does nothing to us. Let's go ahead and all break through.
This is turning into the
and
purge.
we'll see what happens.
It's turning into the purge where there's no rules anymore.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK.
You
NFL
like that
Quick
type
Hitters
of
in about
lead?
15 minutes. We did get this text from the 314. Guys, do you need a player for Beat the Blues today? We absolutely do. Coming up at 1:30,
but not you.
We will play a game of Can You Beat the Blues? Today they're going up against Oscar Sundquist, T-Bone. That's our
And
contestant.
tickets to the Canadians game.
How about that? You see
Zach
the return
Bolduc.
of Zach Bolduc.
Hey, no, May you against his former team.
That too.
No, that's the
You
primary.
will have an opportunity to go up against Oscar Sundquist with the chance to win an Oscar Sundquist signed hockey puck and tickets to see the Blues versus the Montreal Canadiens. We need 3 contestants. Text in right now at 314-399-9646, and we will pick 3 contestants at random to go up against Oscar Sundquist today at 1:30. Coming up next, Brendan Donovan's market continues to develop, but the second base market overall appears to be a bit jammed up. We'll give you the latest update. We've got 3 of them from Ken Rosenthal, Mark Feinsand, and Jeff Passan next year on 101 ESPN.
Alex Ferrario with you to talk about my friends out at Ted Drew's, where right now the holiday season is over there off of Chippewa. They've got that Christmas tree parking lot, which I have to imagine the Christmas trees are starting to wane thin there because you probably didn't get out there fast enough. But they still have that parking lot that's filled, and they've got holiday greenery that you can buy also. So if you're looking for those last-minute decorations before Christmas next week, you can go out there and check out their handmade wreaths, their garland, mistletoe, and so much more. I personally just love doing it during the holidays, so just walk around the parking lot. Feels like Christmas over there. Plus, you could buy some Ted Drew's frozen custard in bulk, bring it home, stuff it in the freezer, and with all the Christmas parties you're going to be going to over the next couple of weeks, you get to bring some Ted Drew's and surprise everybody. And another one for you while you're out there, you can walk across the parking lot and get some last-minute Christmas shopping done. They've got Ted Drew's apparel. They've got Ted Drew's souvenirs. They've also got St. Louis Route 66 souvenirs and Ted Drew's gift cards for you while you're out there. So get on over to Ted Drew's off of Chippewa during the holidays. Check out their Christmas tree parking lot. Check out their souvenir shop and their gift shop that they have. And more importantly, just go check out the tradition that's been around since 1926. Ted Drew's, where tradition tastes great and the holidays feel right at home.
I don't know why Mizzou would sign any four-star recruit anymore. That's not going to immediately play.
Oh, why should you? You just go over to the Mongolian League and pick up a couple of 27-year-olds.
Talking about the football team.
Oh.
Henry Fanuku, an offensive lineman for Mizzou. He was a freshman this season from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Four-star kid, had big-time offers out of high school, including Georgia, Texas A&M, USC, ultimately signed with Mizzou. He has decided to enter his name into the transfer portal. Now, a report coming from 24/7 Sports. This is something they believe there's really nothing that Mizzou could have done. He, for personal reasons, would like to go closer to home. God bless him. He's this is well within his right to enter the transfer portal. I'm not saying anything specifically about this kid, but this is like half of Mizzou's recruiting class from last year that's now entered the portal, including most of their top recruits. If you think the kid is going to see the field immediately, take him. But those kids are so few and far between that it almost feels crazy to me, Alex, to take many of those upper echelon kids. Just spend that money on portal entries instead.
Yeah, I really wonder, and I mean, I can't imagine it does happen, but like high school recruiting feels like the smaller programs recruit the high school kids, they get to the college level, and then you just transfer portal. Yeah. All of these blue bloods, these Power 5 teams, just why even worry about the recruiting? Because you just go to the portal every year. Now, you probably have to do the recruiting to fill certain holes of guys that want to be there, but
I would use it for 3 stars. 3-star kids that know they're not going to play right away, and guys that you think can develop over 3 years or so.
Yeah.
Into like high upside traits. So a kid that runs, a 4.3 40 and he doesn't really have his game rounded out well. He's still very a late bloomer or something. And you think, hey, 3 years from now, he could be a starting wide receiver for us. But right now he's not there and he knows that. And so he's comfortable sitting behind our studs that are here for the time being. Because some of these kids come in and like after 1 year, they're saying, oh, well, I can just go down to, I don't know, Florida State and get an opportunity. They're closer to home. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The transfer portal, there are no rules, as we mentioned previously, and it's leading to, I think probably for a lot of these kids, getting bad advice. But for some of them, they're getting real offers from elsewhere, and yeah, why not take it? I get it. I don't demean any of them for doing so. It's just, I think you have to change the way that you operate as a program if this is going to be the way that it works.
And that has to be exhausting for the coaches, too, do all of the recruiting, that spend all of this time away from their family, trying to make the program as strong as it can, and then 1 year into it, when they weren't on the field, they're gone. All of that recruiting that you did to get them there, they're gone. I get how coaches just be like, oh, okay, I get it.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. All right, on the baseball side of things, there were 3 new updates today, Alex, on the Brendan Donovan trade market. The first one comes from Jeff Passan, who reported the following. Washington can hold on to Gore and Abrams for another year if need be. Executives believe that Donovan will eventually get moved. The Cardinals, though, have set a specific terms for him and have no desire to waver. He added, trades will happen, promise they have to. Teams are talking right now, working through different concepts, perhaps one trade begetting another. There are plenty of avenues that could take place, whether it's acquiring teams, missing out on top free agents and using the trade market to backfill, or a dealing team ultimately reaching its preferred sell-by date. The mechanisms of the winter always win out. An offseason without multiple substantial trades is simply not something that baseball does. So he expects deals to get done, including Brendan Donovan. It's just not there yet. And specifically with the second base market, it's pretty gummed up right now. Here is what Mark Feinsand of MLB.com said about that. Brendan Donovan is a, quote, near lock to be traded, end quote. While Brandon Lau continues to be a staple of the rumor mill, then there's Ketel Marte, who has become one of the most popular trade candidates in the league during the past 2 weeks. Since the offseason began, Bichette has been projected to land one of the top free agent deals this winter, widening his market, though, by including himself as a second baseman can only benefit him during this search for a new contract. So the guys that are currently out there in the second base market include Donnie, Lowe, Marte, and now Bo Bichette, who has told teams he's comfortable playing at the second base position if need be. Last update here, this comes from Ken Rosenthal, and this is not just on Donnie, it's about all of the Cardinals trade targets. He says the most active seller in the trade market is the St. Louis Cardinals. They continue to discuss a wide range of players, including Brendan Donovan, Lars Nootbaar, Wilson Contreras, Nolan Arenado, and Jojo Romero. As first reported by The Athletic, the Mariners are a favorite for Donovan. The Dodgers are among the teams that are interested in Nootbaar. He adds that Arenado is a possibility for the LA Angels, who are negotiating a buyout with Anthony Rendon. No trade is imminent there, however. The market for Arenado will become more clear after Bregman and Eugenio Suarez sign their deals, end quote. Those are the updates today on the Cardinals and their trade possibilities. Anything in particular, Alex, stand out to you among what Passan, Feinsand, and Rosenthal had to say?
I mean, the the line where it said Brendan Donovan is pretty much a lock being traded, I think is at least notable, and we know that. The new part of the Dodgers one's a little intriguing because I just assumed Nootbaar was back because of these injuries, and I know there was some word that maybe there was some noise around Nootbaar once the GM meetings were taking place or the winter meetings were taking place, but I didn't think anybody would bite. But if Lars Nootbaar is gone, it does open up a little bit more possibilities because now you got another corner outfield position to where you're playing more of these pieces for you. And then the Nolan Arenado one I thought was intriguing as well, that the Angels are the team.
We said that last year.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't buy that he'd be willing to go there, but apparently they tell us he's willing to go to places that he wasn't before. So
yeah, I find the Donovan news not much surprising there. I am surprised by just how clogged up the trade market has become, because typically when you leave the winter meetings, maybe stuff doesn't get done at the winter meetings, but the week after is kind of when you start to see some stuff trickle out, right? You see a couple of trades that happen. And there's not been a lot that's occurred since the winter meetings, which to me is kind of surprising. I thought we would definitely start to see some action the week or two following, and we're not. It's just all clogged up right now. And I don't know who has to be the first domino to fall. I don't know if it's Bichette. I don't know if it's Marte. And then you see teams start to pivot to Donovan. But the Cardinals should hold, as it was reported there, they're going to hold on to what their asking price is, and they're not going to budge from it. That's how they should approach this trade.
I continue to believe there should be a trade deadline in the offseason. I'm serious. I think it'd be great if the winter meetings, right now, they don't actually matter. They're completely irrelevant.
Yeah, they never do. It's just for Scott Boras to stand up on a stool and make puns to everybody.
It's basically media days.
Yeah.
Like what college football does for the SEC, Big Ten, et cetera, their media days for each respective conference. That's what this is. It's a way for them to get in front of the cameras. All of the reporters are there. You have Ollie Marmol talking to the MLB Network. Then Chaim Bloom goes on, and they're all cycling through. So that's what it's for. And now if we acknowledge that, cool, no problem. But I think for all of us as baseball observers, it would be better for us if there was some sense of urgency that took place there. And you have a true deadline of either get a trade done now or it's not happening until the start of the regular season. And that's when trades can open back up, is at the end of spring training. And I don't think there's a lot of teams that would have a whole lot of appetite to make the deal on opening day, right? So I think it would push the league forward. It would also, I think, help open up the free agent market, because I think there are a lot of teams right now that are wondering, is it better for us to sign Bichette? Should we go the Ketel Marte market? Should we go with Brendan Donovan? Which direction should we go here? Same thing is true for starters. Do we go get Mackenzie Gore? Do we sign Framber Valdez? What's our plan here? And I think it pushes back the free agency market quite a bit. So I think that would be a smart thing for the league to do, and it would help us with situations like this as well, where we could just get our answers on what the Cardinals' plans are.
Yeah, because I don't know when you're going to see this kind of unclogging occur, right?
Exactly.
At this point, I would think it's after Christmas, or at least after the New Year, because you're starting to see that the operations will start to shut down about now. And the thing that's surprising is typically this serves as almost like a mini deadline, if you'll call it that, for free agency. A lot of guys want to know where they're going to be by the time you get to the holidays. And again, that hasn't moved either, right? We've only seen 3 of the top big names come off the market so far, in Alonso, Cease, and I can't remember who the other one is. I'm forgetting. But there's been 3 big free agent signings so far this year. Schwarber, that was the other one. Yeah, Schwarber. I thought that would serve as a deadline for it right now. So this looks like, to me, it feels like January is going to be very active now. But I think the problem for the Cardinals is now they're stuck in this logjam at second base. Now that there's 4 options that are available there, and Donovan's one of those 4. You've got to wait, and on top of you got to wait for as Rosenthal said, you got to wait for the third base market to kind of define itself if you're going to find a suitor for Arenado, because even if the Angels buy out Rendon, I don't know how much of an appetite he's got to go to the Angels, because they're not winning anything anytime soon.
That's the part that I don't buy with Arenado, to where it's
I think he'd do it. If I had to guess, I think he'd do it. I think he would rather be in a situation where, hey, at least I'm close to home now. What's the appeal of being in St. Louis at this point? The team ain't winning. He's still making his money either way. At least there I'm home. Here, for what?
It's like his second home.
Yeah. It's his adopted home for a brief stretch of time. And that home is
where the heart is.
Which is St. Louis.
There's a real draw to home for a lot of people, and he lives there most of the year.
Honestly, I'm rooting for him to say mostly because I want to see him overreact.
To what?
Him staying.
Arenado staying in St. Louis because you were so adamant. I'm
No, he was yelling at me, but I was just saying BK is possible.
I'm kind of adamant about it. Like I want it to happen.
Considering there's like literally no noise around him at all, I think it is very possible.
Why would there be? Nobody's going to have him.
I mean, why would there be noise last year at this point? And there was
because teams were interested. And he was a priority.
It's a little alarming
they're
not interested right now.
He's nobody's priority this offseason.
Let's argue about it again. Why should Nolan Arenado be back?
He sells tickets.
He will not. No, he doesn't. In fact,
He's
it
a
sells
Hall of
more
Famer.
tickets if he's gone than if he's here.
The DeWitts love red jacket members.
Yeah.
And that is true.
We should bring back Goldie.
Coming up in 15 minutes, let's play a game of Beat the Blues. We'll have our 3 contestants going up today against Oscar Sundquist. Whoever wins today will be going home with a signed hockey puck by Sonny and tickets to see the Blues versus the Canadians as well. Coming up next, NFL Quick Hitters here on 101 ESPN. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line to get involved in the show. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. Let's dive into some NFL quick hitters. So, do you guys think it's time for the Browns to move on from Kevin Stefanski? This has become something that's been has a little bit of buzz around it right now. He obviously does not have a good record in his time with Cleveland. I don't know how much of that is his fault versus the situation that he has inherited and been a part of with the Cleveland Browns. Do you guys think they should move on this offseason from Kevin Stefanski? And if they do, would he become one of the top candidates on the market?
I think he probably would become one of the top candidates because this just feels like one of those things that it's time for a split for both sides. I don't think it's because of Stefanski and being a bad coach. I don't think it's because this is just a split that needs to happen for both sides. The Browns are always going to be stuck until they finally figure out who the quarterback is. And until you figure out who the quarterback is, I don't think it matters who the coach is. So, yeah, I do think there's probably worth a split for Stefanski, probably for Stefanski's sake.
I was going to say, if I'm Stefanski, I'd love to get the hell out of town. Right? Fire me, give me my severance check, and I'll go to the market. And if I'm the Titans, I'd hire him. I think he's a good head coach. I think he's just in a terrible situation.
I'm the Giants, I'd hire him too.
Yeah, Giants would be a great fit for him. That's a bad situation too. Vegas would make sense. Another bad situation. I just think it's a bad situation for him. Like, you saw what he could do when he had a quarterback. When he had, I think it was Baker in 2020, right? Went 11-5. They pushed the Chiefs to the end there in that divisional game. Like, I think he's a good coach. It's just the Browns are the Browns, man. Like, they are terrible when it comes to just operating as an organization.
I also just think, like, if you're the Browns, if the plan is to get yourself a rookie quarterback this offseason and to start whatever the next era of Browns football is going to be, it probably makes sense to move on. You just want to, put all of what happened over the last few years in the rear view mirror. It's not good for anybody to have that stench infiltrating the locker room when you have a new quarterback, a new voice that's supposed to be the leader of your club. So, for me, I think it makes sense for both sides, and I do think you would be one of the top candidates on the market, given how barren the market is right now. It's yikes. There are not a whole lot of intriguing candidates. Plus, he runs the offense that's taking the league by storm. Mm-hmm. You know, he's one of the other branches from this McVay, Shanahan, Sean Payton tree. If you're running that offense right now, you're probably going to have some success if you have the right quarterback. All right, big game tonight. Seahawks are a 1.5-point home favorite, Alex, against the LA Rams. I don't think Davante Adams is going to be playing in this game. That would be my expectation going in. But the Rams on the road at Seattle, huge game for both parties. Winner of this basically has control of the NFC West and a potential 1 seed in the NFC. The last matchup between these two teams was won in a very close game by the LA Rams. How you guys feeling going into this one? Last time around, Stafford only threw for $130, so it wasn't like the Rams dominated offensively.
Yeah, and the Seahawks, though, in my opinion, have taken a little bit of step back these last couple of weeks. I don't have a side in this race. I honestly am just excited to see two teams that I think are two of the best in the NFC this season go head-to-head. But if I had to pick a line, I would just go with the Rams. Even without Davante Adams, they just feel like they're more of a complete team than the Seahawks. And unfortunately for the Seahawks, the one piece of that puzzle that's missing is the quarterback.
Yeah, I lean Rams, but man, I think the Adams injury is huge for them because now
especially in the red zone.
Yeah, that's been their go-to guy. And now if you're Seattle, all right, well, we'll just double Puka all night. Now, who are you throwing the football to?
Puka's also had a weird week.
Yeah. Very. I don't know who Stafford's going to target. Parkinson, I guess, his tight end should get a ton of shares tonight. I think.
I hope so.
I would play him tonight if you're in daily fantasy.
Yeah.
And if you've got a playoff fantasy matchup this week and you're struggling at the tight end position, Parkinson, if he's available, is a really good pickup in my opinion.
He's on my team. I think Rams win mostly because I think they're going to make. I think you're going to see Darnold struggle again. It's twice now. I mean, you brought up the game that they played. He was not good in that game either. And the Rams, the last 2 times they've faced Darnold, have really made him look bad. So I expect that's going to be the case. And the Rams will do just enough with Stafford offensively to win this football game. I love the under as my favorite play. Under 42.5 tonight.
That's what I like as well. I do like the Rams on the money line to win this one outright. I think it's a close one. I think it's a very low-scoring game. Despite the fact that both offenses are good, I think they'll run the ball pretty well on both sides. I think this is like a 20-17, 23-13, that kind of a matchup tonight between the Rams and the Seahawks. So I like that side of things. On Saturday, we've got Eagles versus Commanders and Bears versus the Packers. Other news in the NFL, we'll get to this before we get to beat the Blues on the other side. Did you guys see the news with the Bears yesterday? They're threatening to move to Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
If
I think
they
should
don't
come to St.
get
Louis.
their their stadium built that they're looking for. What? Why? Can I just ask this real quick?
Yeah. There are no dumb questions.
You're not excited about the Indiana Bears?
No, they'll still be
If
Chicago,
you're the
probably.
Bears and this is what you want to do, you're expanding the search to put pressure on the city of Chicago. Whatever. I'm not even going to tell you should or shouldn't do that. Can you maybe not do that 2 days before one of the biggest games of the last 20 years for Bears football?
No, motivation.
You've got this game coming up against your hated rival at home against the Green Bay Packers. Your team is 10-4. You've got a real chance to be able to win the division this year behind this unbelievable, second-year sensation, new coach. Everything is going in your direction. If you win this game, you have a commanding lead in the NFC North to win that division. You will then be basically 2 games up on the Green Bay Packers. You needed to put this thing out today? Why? It just seemed that the timeline on this felt so strange to me and so forced and so unnecessary to put this bad publicity out there before one of the biggest games in recent Bears memory.
Wasn't it because they just had to learn they were not getting the funds they needed?
Then wait until next week when you don't have a
think they
home
had to have
football game.
They would tell you they had to have the immediate response to it. Also, I don't know how much. I get it. It's a storyline. I
they're
don't know that
liars.
this one really impacts players and coaches as much.
Oh, I'm not talking about that.
That's
For
why
the
I don't
fans.
care.
If you're a fan,
I don't think it's going to take away from me excited to watch
I don't
Bears and
either.
Packers.
Oh, I think if you're a Bears fan in Chicago, I think you're just annoyed.
Annoyed, sure, but you're still going to be rooting on the team.
Of course. But there's no reason to put this bad juju out there for your fans.
I think
The
it just
timing
creates
of it is stupid.
I think it just creates hate for the city, which.
What do you mean?
It's what the Bears are going for.
I think
if I'm
fans
a Bears
hate
fan,
the
though,
city.
I'm not mad at the city. I'm mad at you, the team, for not figuring this thing out. Eventually figure it out, Bears.
Well, the city's a part of it too, though, that has to fund it and be willing to.
They don't necessarily have to, but that's a conversation that we could have at a later date. If you want to talk about billionaires funding their own stadiums.
How could they afford it,
I think we've been there.
Brandon?
I think we've been there before.
Yeah.
We might get a lot of clicks when we hit that one.
Kroenke couldn't pay for it, okay?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Now he owns 7 different teams?
Yeah.
Couldn't pay for it.
But yeah, I think
including the stadium out there in LA, which
that he built and kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think it was
Is
the
that what you were
unfortunate part of
referring
it
to
all.
not talking about? Oh, okay. T-Bone's fine with it. He's a Rams fan.
Coming up next.
Whose house?
God, I hope the Seahawks win later.
We're going to play the latest edition of Beat the Blues. We'll have 3 contestants going up today against one Oscar Sundquist. Winner is going home with a signed hockey puck by Sonny and tickets to see the Blues versus the Montreal Canadiens. Beat the Blues next year on 101 ESPN.
BK, football season, of course, in full swing, and we know by now Underdog is our favorite place. It's the best place to get in on all of the action, and you can make your entries right now and win money in the state of Missouri. So with Thursday Night Football, the first thing you do in the morning, you roll over, you grab your phone, you open up the Underdog app. I see the 50% profit boost. Click, right, going to get that, and then I make my play for tonight. So I am going higher on Kobe Parkinson receiving yards. I'm going higher on Kyron Williams rushing yards, going lower on Jackson Smith and Jigba receiving yards, and higher on Jason Myers field goals made. Those four, 11-1.
Love those odds over on the Underdog app. I just opened up my app, and it's reminding me, starting tomorrow, they've got the Underdog Unwrapped. You check back every day to unwrap gimmies, boosts, discounts, and other surprises. And this includes heading up this weekend. Underdog Unwrapped has all kinds of promos throughout the holidays, and they're kicking it off with a boost for Jake Paul's big fight on Friday night. So check that out over there on the Underdog app. Download it today. Use the promo code BKO. You'll score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code BKO. Underdog. Make plays. Win money. Must be 18 or older. Present in Missouri. Terms to apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org.
Tanner Hendrickson here at the Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Blues back in action tonight as they host the New York Rangers. We'll have pregame coverage tonight starting at 6 o'clock with Alex Ferrario. Then puck drop at 7 o'clock with Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale. The Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an Icon heating and air conditioning dealer.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone on BK, each and every week here on BK and Ferrario, we play a game called Beat the Blues. This week, the contestant is Oscar Sundquist. We will also have him going up against Mike, Dan, and Neil. Alex, the winner of today's edition, will go home with an Oscar Sundquist signed hockey puck and tickets to see the Blues versus the Canadians coming up on January the 3rd. It's a very simple game. We'll give you a category. You name as many different things within that category as you can in 15 seconds. We'll then play Oscar Sundquist's answer to the same category. Whoever finishes between Mike, Dan, and Neil with the highest margin of victory or the smallest margin of defeat will be going home with the Sunny puck and tickets to see the Blues versus the Canadians. We begin with Mike. Mike, we appreciate you being a part of the show and participating with Beat the Blues. How you doing today, man?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing great, man. Hope you and yours have a very Merry Christmas. Hopefully we can help you out with a signed hockey puck to put under the Christmas tree this year. Do you understand the rules of the game, my friend?
Yes, I believe so.
All right, Mike. Your category today: styles of cuisine. Styles of food cuisine. Name as many as you can in 15 seconds. On your mark, get set, go.
Italian, Chinese, Indian, Japanese, Mexican, French, Thai, Middle Eastern.
Did he say American? Did he say American food? No, I
didn't.
Okay, it's definitely the worst.
Well, sure, but yeah, I mean, obviously Italian is the best out of all of these. We all know that, but I just
I'd go Mexican number one for me. T-Bone, what's your number one?
I'd go Italian
kind
too.
Of Italian are you?
Not a good one.
Not a good one. You don't like garlic?
All right, Mike, good round for you. He ended up with an 8. Let's hear how Oscar Sundquist does. Is he a bit of a foodie?
Swedish.
Italian, Korean, Thai, Indian, European, American, Mexican, Ecuadorian.
Ecuadorian, my goodness.
All right, that's an equal. I had 8 for
I had
Sonny.
8.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's a 0. Let me.
That's a
My
0.
math is correct there.
Yep, we evened it out between Mike and Sonny
You
in
heard
the
what-
first round.
You
You're
heard
in
what
the clubhouse.
You heard what Sonny said last, though, right? It was
Ecuadorian?
No, well, yeah. Okay, second to last. God, that was a great job by you.
American.
Mexican is what he said. Second
He did.
to last.
Yep. And he said Italian to open
number
things up.
1. It's the goat.
All right, let's go out to the phone line to hear from Dan, who's going up against Sonny today. Dan, how you doing, my friend?
Good, guys. How are you?
Doing really well. Do you understand the rules of the game, Dan?
Yep.
All right, Dan, your category today. Name as many different things as you can that break. Things that break. On your mark, get set, go.
Pencils, relationships, bones, packs, cookies, carrots.
Dan, you got to take me through your mind for a minute there, man.
I like the open. I mean, clever. The relationships
Pencils
as
to
the second one.
relationships.
That's good.
And then bones. I get the relationships to bones. I don't get the pencils to relationships.
BK's toe.
Yeah, that's a
could have
good
been
one.
an acceptable
Carrots.
answer on that. The carrots one.
I've never heard of a. I mean, I guess you could break a carrot.
I guess
I would count it.
I like it.
No, I'm not
counting
questioning Dan. I just want to be brought into Dan's world. I want to know where his mind was at.
All over the place.
Understandable,
Well played.
Dan. Understandable.
All right, Dan, you got 6. Let's hear how Sonny does in this category.
A car, a plate, a glass, mirror, bed legs, couch.
Sonny, bed legs and a couch.
All right, that's a 0 as well.
Good God, are we gonna have 3 goose eggs?
So we're tied so far between Mike and Dan.
You know what we're gonna do for the tiebreaker, Brandon?
Yep, we've got something.
I'm glad you know.
We're not gonna need a deal.
We're gonna need you, big
What's
guy.
up, fellas?
We need you to
How's it
beat
going?
Sonny. We're doing great, man. How are you doing today?
Outstanding, outstanding. Thank you.
Neil,
Absolutely.
you sound like a confident individual. Can I ask a question, Neil?
Go ahead.
Is
B.
it spelled Neal?
Or Niel?
A the right way. Neal.
That's the power name right there. That's the power name for Neil. All right, Neil, I feel a +3.
Just a +1 or better. That's all I'm asking from you, Neil.
I'm not rooting for anybody. I'm neutral.
I'm rooting for no tiebreaker.
BK just, why? You got a tiebreaker idea, man.
I do. We're also behind clock. Neil, I think you're going to have a really good round here. Your category today, things with wheels. Name as many things as you can that have wheels. On your mark, get set, go.
Unicycle, bicycle, tricycle, quad, ATV, car, truck, van, SUV, box truck, semi-truck, dump truck, school bus, fire truck, ambulance, police car.
Good God. We don't even need to play Sunquist.
We're good.
That was 16.
There will not be a tie.
Oh my
That's
God.
the best round we've ever heard. Neil, my friend,
That's
that was
the
fantastic.
power, Neil. Boom.
Dan hung up already. Dan went, it is over. Dan said it is over.
Dan.
All right, Neil, we're going to hear from Sonny, but I would go ahead and stay on the line. Congratulations on your Oscar Sundquist signed hockey puck and tickets to see the Blues versus the Canadians. Let's hear from Sonny.
Bike, car, motorcycle, airplane.
Nope.
Stroller.
Ooh. No time for us.
Tricycle. What do you call the one thingy?
Oh my
One-wheel
God.
thing.
What did he say?
The one wheel thingy. The one that
Unicycle.
was
The
Neil's
unicycle.
first answer, unicycle.
All right, that's a +9 for our guy Neil with N-E-A-L is the spelling.
Yeah, that's a power, Neil. I told you guys that.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, fellas. Thank you, fellas. Let's go Blues.
Let's go
Warriors.
Blues, Neil.
Yeah, need a win tonight so we can talk to our guy Mike McKenna tomorrow after a win.
Yeah, but if history is proven correct, I'd say you
Seems
hammer
unlikely.
You hammer that matchup against the Rangers.
Yeah, I would go over to the Underdog app, use the promo code BKO, and I would assume that there are going to be a lot of goals on the Rangers side of things.
What in the world?
I mean, if we're talking to Mike
Or
McKenna
I'm
tomorrow.
assuming the Blues won't score a lot of goals.
Yeah, either way. Yeah, you could go either direction.
2-0 final score. That's my
Lower on
prediction.
shots on goal for a lot of Blues players, higher on a lot of the goals for the Rangers would be the way that I would go. All right, so congratulations to Neil. If you weren't a part of it today but want to be in the future, I've got something cool for you. Tuesday of next week and Tuesday of the following week, we will be playing Beat the Blues because we're going to be off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we'll have 2 opportunities on a new day for you each of the next couple of weeks to play Beat the Blues. But that also means that you're going to have an opportunity to go up against some Blues. T-Bone, do we know who's coming up next?
Next week, Jordan Bennington.
There you go.
Will
Just
beat the
on.
Blues. The following week, the other goalkeeper, Joel Hofer.
Woo! Little tandem action in the holidays.
So for the next couple of weeks, we'll have opportunities to win a signed hockey puck by both Jordan Bennington and Joel Hofer, and you'll potentially have an opportunity to get a couple of Blues tickets as well. From the 636, did BK say no to planes having wheels? I did not. Alex did. Just so we're clear.
No, I was saying no to the us. I said you can't say That's what the no was. Planes do have wheels. I understand that.
He's Alex. That's T-Bone on
Wrap
BK.
it up, man. We're late.
We'll get to the rewind next year on 101 ESPN.
Tanner Hendrickson here in Missouri. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in your state. Now you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. I'm feeling another Blues win tonight, so I'm taking Blues on the money line, and they've got a 100% profit boost for any sports bet today here on Thursday. Also, Thursday Night Football, 20% profit boost for the Rams versus Seahawks game. So download that DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TANNER. That's code TANNER as new Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code TANNER. The crown is yours in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. If you guys missed anything from today's show, be sure to check it out on the podcast page, 101ESPN.com, and the free 101 ESPN app is where you go to find it. It's all sponsored by
Schaefer Door Company.
101 ESPN app, free to download, super easy to use, and that is sponsored by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. By the way, some news to pass along. Missouri State is finalizing a 5-year contract to make SMU offensive coordinator Casey Woods their next head coach. Casey Woods was previously a tight ends coach at Mizzou. He was also in charge of their recruiting. My brief interactions with Casey, really great dude, super charismatic. I think this is a great hire for Missouri State. In all seriousness, I thought he might be a candidate for Mizzou's offensive coordinator gig. So really good hire by Missouri State. I think he's going to have success there. So big time news there in the college football world locally.
Just wake me up when Chase Daniel takes the offensive coordinator role.
On the blue side of things, back in action tonight against the Rangers. It sounds like it's going to be as expected. Jordan Bennington in net for them. Robbie Fabry potentially getting the healthy scratch tonight. Alexei Toropchenko on the top line. Alex, what stands out to you
on that one
about the line combinations going into tonight's game?
More so Berggren and Stenberg. I mean, I think those two guys looked really good last night, very noticeable, and I'm curious what it looks like the next game because I think this is the progress you'd want to see if you're Blues fans in terms of seeing what some of these first-round picks look like at the NHL level. Dalibor Dvorsky continues to impress. Logan Mayhew's continuing to impress, and now you got 2 more guys to put in there. So I'll be watching that, and then I'm going to be really watching what Jordan Bennington looks like and how the team plays in front of him.
No doubt. Those are definitely worth noting. Another thing here, Mizzou, big news today. Bo Pribula is expected to transfer, and it's going to be Matt Zollers as the starting quarterback for Mizzou in their bowl game this year. I think this is an audition. Let's see how Matt Zollers looks against a decent but not great Virginia defense. If he can't do it here, and it's not going to be a great supporting cast for him, but if he doesn't look good here, maybe that swings Missouri even more in the direction of adding a quarterback via the transfer portal and then hoping that Matt Zoller sticks around and he becomes your starter going into the 2027 season with somebody else starting for you, maybe somebody like Raiola in 2026. So it sounds like Bo Pribula heading to the transfer portal. Matt Zollers getting the start for Mizzou in the Gator Bowl against Virginia certainly adds a little bit of intrigue for the Tigers in that game. We will be back with you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. We'll have our usual Friday show staples. We'll have our pick'ems. We'll have Mike McKenna hopefully coming, fingers crossed, off of a win for the Blues tonight. It's not 3 in a row this evening. It would be 2 in a row, right?
What?
Yeah, for the Blues win.
Yeah, 2 in a row.
They're eligible.
The Rangers aren't they?
Well, they're not eligible because it's a Thursday, and Fridays he has not.
But the Rangers stink.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance here.
Yeah.
They've done it before. They've won before a Mike McKenna segment before. So fingers
They
crossed
have only
that
one.
they can do it again.
And we'll also have the staple of us dropping at 1 o'clock, too.
One's got to
Do
go.
factor.
So our NFL
tune in at
weekend look
1:15.
ahead. Looking forward to talking to you guys about all of that tomorrow. For Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. We'll talk to you then. The Fast Lane's coming up next here on 101 ESPN.
I'm 6 foot 190.
No, you're not. Hey, it's BK for my friends over at Victory Men's Health. I actually booked a new appointment for myself yesterday with Kim over at Victory Men's Health. She is going to help me unlock my inner champion. I'm going over there to recheck my micronutrient labs. I, about 6 months ago, went in there to find out where I was at with all of my different levels. My diet has changed a little bit. At the time, I was vegetarian. Now I'm not. So they're going to find out, all right, where am I at today compared to where I was at 6 months ago and personalize a plan for me. They can do the same thing for you. It doesn't have to be your micronutrient levels, though. They can check out where you're at with your testosterone levels and get you back up to that healthy adult normal for men. They can also help you out if you're wanting to lose some of that unwanted weight. They've got stuff to help you for erectile dysfunction. You can check out their vitamin infusions, the supplement shop, red light therapy programs, cardiovascular testing as well. It's all available for you today at Victory Men's Health. It's a super easy process. Go to their website, victorymenshealth.com. victorymenshealth.com. Book that first appointment online. All you have to do, put in your name, email, phone number, tell them BK with 101 ESPN sent you, and they will help you unlock your inner champion at Victory Men's Health. Check them out today, victorymenshealth.com. That's victorymenshealth.com.